sellout here in Lincoln. Can KU pull the upset? We'll find out shortly. In the national championship hunt. Of course, the last couple of seasons, they didn't lose a game with Tommy Frazier at quarterback, but there's been a changing of the guard. For more on that story, we get to the field and Lisa Molosky. Lisa.
Thanks a lot, Drew. Tommy Frazier, arguably the greatest option quarterback to ever play at Nebraska, led the Cornhuskers to 2 straight national titles and a perfect 25-0 record. In honor of his contributions to Nebraska football, his jersey, number 15, was retired just moments ago. Frazier, hugely popular, not only here in Lincoln, but throughout the state of Nebraska, which makes things a little more complicated for his replacement, junior quarterback Scott Frost. He's a native of Nebraska, but he's been under heavy scrutiny by the Nebraska faithful. Coach Tom Osborne says Frost is a good quarterback. He supports him. He says people should lay off a little bit, give him some breathing room and some time to improve. Drew, Dave?
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. Tom Osborne very much in his corner. He says he's a terrific athlete. The Southwest Airlines must tonight for the Cornhuskers.
Well, they want to bring it early, Drew. They want to get the crowd into this football game and break Kansas' spirit. They don't want to self-destruct like they did last week with 5 giveaways offensively and a solid kicking game. They blocked 2 punts. They've returned 2 for touchdowns. They want to keep that up.
And Glenn Mason, what a job he has done now in his 9th year in Lawrence, Kansas. The must for KU.
Well, they want to turn the June Henley crisis into opportunity. The rest of the team has to step up. Eric Van, the offensive line, everybody. Defrost Scott. Make him win the game. Make him throw the football. Hold on to the football when running the option. And they want to get into a consistent rhythm offensively. No tackles for loss to get off schedule. Can't do that.
Again, it is really blowing from the southwest. Nebraska won the toss. They elected to kick off, and they will defend the south goal here in Lincoln at Memorial Stadium. The temperature is not a problem. It's actually very pleasant out. The wind is the problem. Gusts up to 50 miles an hour, and it will remain windy, at least according to the forecast.
You got to hold it. You got to hold her on the kickoff, Drew. That's how windy it is.
Michael Chandler and Eric Van back deep, and this one will sail through the end zone, and KU will start with it at the 20-yard line. Their quarterback is Matt Johnner. He's a junior from Costa Mesa, California. He's been up and down this year throwing the football, but he hasn't turned it over much. 9 touchdowns in the air, only 3 interceptions. He originally was the backup coming out of the spring to Ben Roots, who will play some today. Ben Roots started his career at the University of Nebraska. So here we go. Kansas with the football, 1st and 10 at the 20. The single setback is Galbraith. He has the football, and he's going to lose 6. It is nearly impossible to run against Nebraska. Jason Peter and John Hess in there defensively. Here are the skill guys for Kansas. There's Isaac Bird. He is a terrific wideout and also an outstanding return man. If you're Nebraska, you pay close attention to number 1. Stiebel began his career as well at Nebraska. He moves over from a guard spot to his natural position this week, that of center. 2nd down and 16 as Kansas goes backwards on 1st. And this is up in the air off the fingertips of the intended target, John Gordon. So it'll bring up 3rd and 16. Let's check the defensive alignment for the Cornhuskers. Maybe the best defense in the country, and these 2 ends are outstanding. Tomich and Wistrom. Peter's also playing exceptionally well. The linebackers, they run like their cornerbacks. Farley and Williams just flat out fly. And the secondary has a true freshman, Ralph Brown, the first true freshman to start the opener at Nebraska since World War II. Kansas says they want to try to pick on him. 3rd and 16. Johnner under pressure. Will be sacked from behind. It's Tomich who came free. And Kansas goes backwards 15 yards on their opening possession.
Well, as we talked about, a must for Kansas was to establish offensive rhythm. There was none established there. They were thrown off schedule on 1st down, a 6-yard loss, running the counter. And this time there's an assignment mistake up front. The line doesn't slide to pick up Tomich, and he detonates Johnner. I mean, unblocked. Tomich, you got to put a helmet on him. Brain cramp in the first series in pass protection for Kansas.
The punter is Dean Royal, and he shanks it. And the Ball's loose on the ground. Kansas is going to get it. D'Angelo Evans tried to field it, and he lost the football, and Kansas gets an enormous break. They came in plus 12 in turnover ratio, make it plus 13.
That's number 1 in the conference, number 2 in the country. Now, was the 5 yards given there in order for him to field the punt? I think it was Michael Chandler that was close in coverage. You have to have 5 yards separation to field the punt. D'Angelo Evans really didn't have 5 yards, but he muffed it on his own. It was not due to any physical contact, interference by Kansas, but it did look like he was in that 5-yard neutral area.
And that actually was Octavius McFarland. There's 2 number 4s. D'Angelo Evans on offense, McFarland on defense. Short carry, John Hess makes the tackle. We go downstairs to Lisa Miloski.
Well, a quick note here, Drew. Coach Tom Osborne told us yesterday that the key for the Nebraska Cornhuskers was, first and foremost, take care of the ball. Made a mistake early. Back to you guys.
All right, Lisa, pick up a 4 on first down out at the 37-yard line. Van gets the call again. Breaks a tackle, uses his speed to get a couple of yards. He is more of a speed back than June Henley, as Minter knocked him out of bounds with help from Michael Booker. He has a lot of talent. I think people looking in tonight, Dave, are saying, oh boy, Kansas, what kind of shot do they have without June Henley? And of course, it's a blow to their offense, but Van can get it done. He
can. He's one of those short, squatty backs, 5'7", 5'8", over 200 pounds. Tremendous shiftiness, low center of gravity. The offensive line has to give him some room to operate, though. John Hess, every time an offensive lineman pulls, he's shooting the gap and running it down from behind. This Nebraska defense is so active, they can all run.
Out of the gun on 3rd and 5. Johnner will run it, and he'll get stopped well short of a first down. Hess and Wistrom combined to bring him down, and with that pass rush from Nebraska, you will get happy feet.
Oh yeah, you will. That almost looked like it was a quarterback draw. He decided to tuck it and run so quickly. Instead of looking at the secondary, he was looking for a crease in the defensive front 4 pass rush to take advantage of with his feet. Now this will help Kansas. A big key for them is field position. They didn't have it until Nebraska fumbled the first punt. The second punt will give their defense better field position.
Dean Royal, this is marginally better, and this time Octavius McFarland fields it at the 29-yard line. So Nebraska's defense stops Kansas twice, 3 and out, and they'll touch the football for the first time. Scott Frost from about 90 miles to the west of here, Wood River, Nebraska, a high school All-American who decided that he wanted to go out to Stanford and play for Bill Walsh initially. That's what he did, but he came back home, and as Lisa addressed off the top, he has been heavily scrutinized despite the Cornhuskers' 5-1 record. And of course that comes when you lose a game in Nebraska. That happens about once a decade, it seems. Here's the handoff, and straight ahead goes Amon Green, or off tackle, and he'll get a few. Let's check the skill people for the always deep Nebraska Cornhuskers. You'll see Amon Green, you'll see Damon Benning, you'll see D'Angelo Evans. Green is the fastest player on the Cornhusker roster, and up front, averaging typically about 300 pounds, Aaron Taylor, 2-time all-conference player. We'll see him at center, might even see him at guard tonight on both sides. He is extremely versatile. 2nd and 6, Amon Green, and meeting him in the hole was Ronnie Wood. He stepped up and made the stop for a minimal gain. Kansas, in terms of statistics on defense, it doesn't stand out, but they're not a bad bunch. McGraw on the nose tackle has played well, and the linebacker crew is led by Ronnie Ward, who's had 38 tackles in the last 2 weeks against Colorado and Texas Tech. Blevins, a free safety, very good. Gaddy is very steady, the strong safety. It's 3rd down and 5 for the Huskers. Frost throwing, and it is incomplete. They tried to get it to Vedral, number 25. Jamie Harris, the coverage, and Nebraska will have to punt.
Well, one thing that Kansas felt they could stand up to it inside again. Nebraska Cornhuskers. This time, Frost tries to get to the perimeter, but the pressure was good enough that he could not set his feet and throw the football off his back foot. Mechanics were poor there due to the pursuit and the pressure in the Kansas Jayhawks inside out.
This is a very important element in tonight's game. It is in every game, kicking game. 10 men up for Kansas. That is a dangerous man in Isaac Bird, and Cush hammers a great punt. Bird fair catch, 20-yard line. Jesse Cush, 10th in the nation in punting. Great hang time, and a punt of 46, a net of 46.
And hang inside in pass protection from guard to guard against Nebraska. They certainly did there, gave him a great pocket. They lost track of Galbraith out of the backfield. The nephew of Tony Galbraith, great running back at Missouri who had a nice NFL career.
And Dave, I know you played against him. He was a great receiver out of the backfield, one of the all-time receivers out of the backfield, and I guess his nephew has pretty good hands also.
Soft hands, yeah.
Van straight ahead, and actually they had come up short on first down. I thought they had gotten 11. They got about 9.5. Flags come in as Van is dropped after a 2-yard gain. It would be enough for a first down, but Terry Turlington will sort things out for us.
Yeah, there's a flag. I don't know if there's a false start.
The offense, 5-yard penalty, no play, still second down.
They didn't blow it dead, and I thought they should have blown that thing dead earlier than they did. They let the play unfold. Normally, as you can see in the very top of the screen, receiver flinching before the snap of the football, feigning the start of a play before the snap of the football. That's a no-no.
Johnner looking to the sideline for the play. 9:57 to go, opening quarter, no score. Kansas has actually had it twice after a muffed punt. Nebraska once, and both teams still without a first down.
Glenn Mason trying to figure out what the heck is going wrong with his offense. Now the offensive linemen know who to block. They're just not getting it done technique-wise.
Johnner, time breaking down. He loses the football. Is that a fumble?
Incomplete.
Now they're ruling it incomplete. Jason Peter got there. Jason Peter, the younger brother of Christian Peter, who made some All-American teams last year.
Got an injury for the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, it's Mike Foreman.
Yeah.
He's had a bad groin. He's been battling that injury, Dave, for the better part of a year.
Yeah, he had a hip flexor problem that turned into a groin. It started in his pelvic area, and then it turned. Now he's grabbing that right ankle, and he's touching that outside. Looks like a high ankle sprain possibly for Foreman. Boy, I tell you, it's the hip flexor, then the groin, then the ankle. He's got more problems than a run-over dog right now.
I'd say so.
Man. And you can see as the offensive lineman lunges to recover that football to make a play on it, Cleve Roberts, Foreman gets his right ankle caught up underneath there. Take a look up front. Offensive line, decent protection initially, and then it breaks down, and man, Johnner just gets drilled. That's the amazing thing about Nebraska. Even the defensive linemen have great closing speed. Is Foreman not able to get off the field under his own power? That's not a good sign at all. Not putting any weight on that right ankle at all.
3rd down and 5. A manageable distance for KU, considering teams against Nebraska this year average better than 8 yards to go on 3rd down. They'll roll the pocket, pressure coming. Johnner has it away. First down to Hosea Friday, out of bounds at the 41. He's the more receiver type of the tight ends. He goes about 250. They have two pretty good tight ends in Moore and Friday.
Yeah, Friday, Charlie McBride thinks that he'll play at the next level. A great receiver. Farley unblocked on the backside. He can run probably 500 meters. That's the thing about these linebackers. They run like defensive backs. They run 10.3 to 10.5 meter dashes. They can fly around the football field.
They give to the up back, Galbraith, and he stood up in the hole. He meets Jason Peter. Also, number 98 in there is Grant Wistrom, O-guard, 97, who's 6'6" and 310.
Wistrom got knocked down by the fullback on the play prior to that. Johnner had a great completion for a first down, and that's what Kansas is going to try to do. On the defensive ends, they're going to change it up. They're going to try to pin him into the inside with a tight end. They're going to chop him to the ground with the fullback. The play before, Wistrom was chopped right to the ground by the fullback very effectively.
2nd and 9. Bird goes to the top. Johnner changing the play. Galbraith the lone setback. Here comes the counter. They just react so well in red. The black shirts. It's a 2-yard loss. Eric Stokes and Terrell Farley there. Mike Minner also in the neighborhood.
They swarm like bees. There were 10 red jerseys around the football when the play was finalized. Looks good right here. Got a lineman out in front throwing a block. Look at the inside-out pursuit. Wistrom, net, boom. There's red jerseys everywhere. 10 defensive players within 3 yards of the football when the back was on the ground. That is incredible. They pepper you and pepper you to death, wear you down. They're in such great physical condition, and they're relentless. Now, Tomich, every single snap, Tomich says, thank you for the opportunity to play here at Nebraska.
Look at those defensive rankings. They're also among the top 5 in college football, never mind just the Big 12.
You know, another stat, 1.7 yards per rush they're allowing. 1.7. That is minuscule. I mean, it's just incredible number.
And they also have 33 sacks coming in. 8:05 to go first quarter. No score right now. Nebraska and Kansas in Lincoln. Football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. And Lincoln, Nebraska, no score between Kansas and the Cornhuskers with Dave Lapham and Lisa Molosky. I'm Drew Goodman. It's 3rd and 11 for the Jayhawks. They come out in a spread formation. Pressure coming. Johnner's going to be sacked again. He has no time. This time it's Grant Wistrom, his 7th plus sack of the year, 7.5.
That's right. Tomich and Wistrom already with a quarterback sack apiece, giving them 35 on the season. Nebraska's offensive line has only given up 6 sacks, almost a 30-sack differential. That's huge field position swing right there. And you notice 3rd and 11 for Kansas, off schedule again, no rhythm.
Chevin Wiggins is in the middle. This is a good punt by Royal. Wiggins at his own 23 trying to get to the wall. And he will not get there. He's brought down by Luke Richardson on special teams, and a flag comes in. Punt of 41 yards by Royal. Golden Pat Rule, the offensive coordinator for Kansas, is down there on a knee talking to his offensive unit. He said, we needed to get healthy. He said, this is about the last place you want to come and get healthy.
Oh, it really is. I mean, they are so tough to run the football against. Kansas has run the ball on first down 3 times for -2 yards, Drew, and they've been knocked off schedule every time they've had the ball.
Just the 2nd time for Nebraska. Mon Green on the toss. Not a whole lot doing there. Gets a couple of yards. Pat Rule's been around the Jayhawk program for a while. He's been at 6 different schools as an offensive coordinator, well respected. Said if there's a cigarette out there, their defense is jaws. We better have a big harpoon if we're going to have a chance. You know what? I think every coach on Glenn Mason's staff is similar in personality almost to Mason. Funny guys.
They could all go on Leno or Letterman. They could do a nice little stand-up routine. The whole coaching staff, it'd be awesome.
Here's the option look. Frost to Green. They get the corner knocked down. First down for Amon. Load option to the 34-yard line. And that was a typical Nebraska option play.
Well, Nebraska will run the option out of 10 different offensive sets. And the key for Nebraska, watch the block up top. Vedral working down the football field. The fullback or the lead back gets the linebacker down. Vedral working down the football field at the secondary level. Kansas wanted to make Frost hold on to the football in the option, make him win, beat them running the football. That time he was able to get it to his pitchman, Amon Green, who has blazing speed.
Kansas confuses Scott Frost. Frost takes a look at the defense in his pre-snap read and calls a timeout. So he'll visit with Turner Gill and Tom Osborne on the sideline. Still no score. And we get an update on a Nebraska injury from Lisa Molosky. Lisa.
Thanks, Drew. Defensive back Mike Fullman bruised the side of his right ankle. They retaped it. He was running along the sideline. It appears as though he'll be right back in there when they need him. Drew, Dave?
Well, that's certainly good news. We talked to Tom Osborne yesterday about his much maligned offense, and here's what he had to say.
offensively, I think we've been good and bad. We've had 3 or 4 very good offensive football games, hardly any turnovers, excellent production. And then we've had a couple that weren't very good, and so that's been a little bit puzzling. And yet, I guess if you know much about athletics, you realize that nothing's perfect all the time.
Tom Osborne yesterday. The amazing thing is Nebraska's averaging 415 yards a game in total offense. There aren't too many coaches in the country that wouldn't take that kind of production.
No, and almost almost 40 points a game, scoring. They're incredible offensively. They've won 10 rushing titles under Coach Osborne. Now they've won 12 altogether. They won a couple under Coach Devaney. But this is unbelievable. The pipeline up front is the key to it. And look what they do for the I-backs. I mean, they've for over 1,000 yards combined and averaging over 6 yards a pop combined, 13 touchdowns. That's big time.
2 tight end formation. They'll fake to
got him.
A bunch. All alone is Vershawn Jackson. And Vershawn will get it to the 24-yard line of Kansas. Good throw from Scott Frost. Vershawn Jackson, the junior from Omaha.
Well, little play action pass. There's Jackson right there. He's the intended, or he is the target. Little play action. Look at the Kansas linebackers bite.
Amon Green gets to the 20-yard line, a pickup about 5 on that play. Let's take a look again at the big strike on the play action.
Well, the linebackers all sucked up on the play action. Jackson gets a clean release, and it's off to the races. Frost does a nice job of just laying it out there. Tight end not rerouted off the line of scrimmage whatsoever, and they had to respect the fake to Amon Green. All the linebackers dove toward the line of scrimmage. Huge cavity to take advantage of.
Vershawn with 4 receptions this year. 2 have been touchdowns. They go out of the ace-back formation. Here's the counter. Amon Green slipping inside, gets a couple before he's dropped by Ronnie Ward and also number 70, the nose tackle, Brett McGraw.
Well, key to this football game, Kansas is loading up the box. They've got 8 and 9 people between the tackles. That time they ran the counter. Nebraska trying to combat that by bringing some left side offensive linemen over to the right side to even the numbers up. Still an unblocked player. The running back has to make the unblocked safety miss, and that time Green did pretty well.
Makovica and Amon Green on 3rd down and 3 in the eye.
Audible.
With hand signals, they'll go toss sweep. Green trying to cut it back, and he makes a nice little move for a 1st down. Just a subtle plant. Got him enough for the 1st down. There were a lot of white jerseys in the neighborhood, but Green, I think, got the necessary yardage.
Makovica is key in this play. Watch number 45, the lead fullback, get his block. Does a nice job. That's a knockdown. That's a great knockdown right there. He took the linebacker to the turf. Steve Bratton went down. Not only offensive linemen have knockdowns, the backs, the wide receivers, everybody on this team knocks people to the ground.
They give to Makovica, and he'll barrel inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Doesn't look pretty, but it got 5 yards.
Well, reward the guy. You throw a nice lead block and give him the football. You throw him a bone for a job well done. Let the big dog eat a little bit, But when Nebraska's on 8 cylinders, Drew, if they have 75, 80 snaps in a football game, they'll have 120 knockdowns. They'll get 60 out of the offensive line. They'll get 30 out of the running backs, and they'll get 30 out of the wide receivers. They take great pride in finishing blocks and taking people to the turf.
They count all those pancakes.
They do. I'll tell you what, it's the international house out here.
Amon Green picking his spot, and he runs into a backer. That was a fine play that time by Steve Bratton, who was pancaked a moment ago, and this time he pancakes Amon Green, so it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 4.
And Bratton playing in place of Jason Thorin, who is a great inside linebacker for this football team. Ronnie Ward, Jason Thorin, tough inside. Thorin is dressed out, will play only in an emergency. Bratton has to step up, and it's the true definition of a team. When one steps down, when one sits down, you get your opportunity, and you have to perform.
Nebraska success rate on 3rd down 45% this year, which is a good figure. Frost will try to throw for it. Looking end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska. It's Sheldon Jackson.
It's a law firm, Jackson & Jackson. I'll tell you what, it set up the big play to Vershawn Jackson. Touchdown to Sheldon Jackson, utilizing the tight ends in the passing attack off play action exceptionally well. Take a look at what Scott Frost does. You know, once you get the running game established, everything else falls into place for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Excellent job of play action, getting the big tight end involved.
And by the way, he is no relation to Vershawn, though they do play the same position. Chris Brown, extra point, is right there. So Nebraska leads it 7-0, and this was a great throw from Frost, Dave.
Very accurate throw. He was patient too. That was the key. Little misdirection. Guard pulls to the left. Frost rolls to the right. Sets his feet. That's the key. Throws off the back foot. Great mechanics right there. He knew as soon as he let the football go, it was a touchdown. That's a tremendous amount of confidence by a young quarterback. The first pass of the game that he threw, because of pressure and lack of patience by him, his mechanics weren't there, and he threw an incompletion. That time, he made an adjustment, corrected things, threw a touchdown. This guy's got great physical talent.
For more on that man, we go down again to Lisa Milosky. Lisa.
Thanks, guys. Just a little bit more on Scott Frost. Coach Tom Osborne told us that early on, Scott was worried too much about making mistakes. Seems to have corrected things, especially in the last 4 games or so. Back to you guys.
Yeah, you know, Tommy Frazier was talking about that, and he said the first 5 games his freshman year, he was so afraid of making the big mistake he was tentative out there. Scott Frost fell into that category, and now he's not so concerned about making the mistake. He's just letting the offense flow and come to him, and major difference in his performance, no question.
Brown will kick it deep, and he hammers this one again. This also will hit about 7 yards deep and go through. So Kansas, trailing 7-0, will have it at the 20-yard line. Another quick footnote about Scott Frost. They test you, and you spent time in the weight room with Boyd Epley, who's legendary in strength circles of college football.
He certainly is.
Scott Frost is the strongest, most agile athlete they've ever had at quarterback in terms of speed, strength, and agility. All the tests they run, that guy's number 1. Better than Tommy Frazier, better than Turner Gill, his position coach.
He won the state title in the shot put his senior year in high school. Runner-up was his right tackle, Eric Anderson. He put the shot over 58 feet. That's big time.
A little bit of room, maybe to the 24-yard line. Boy, it is near impossible to run between the tackles against Nebraska. Eric Warfield came up from a safety spot and made a play for the Huskers. 2nd down and 6, and if you're Kansas, you'll take that kind of play.
Oh yeah, you got to get a positive gain on 1st down, stay on schedule. You know, this Nebraska team, we said, giving up 1.7 a rush, only 1 touchdown rushing. That was in the 4th quarter of the first game. They've gone 20 quarters without giving up a rushing touchdown.
Galbraith will take the football, and he is hit almost immediately by Peter Lowe. And then up high by Ogard. Terrell Farley's also there. Pickup of just 1, and it's 3rd and 5.
Jason Peter has a broken hand. He's got a cast on that right hand. He broke it in last week's football game. And you can see in that right hand, he's casted up, and he's got that cast padded. He's not going to miss any football. Broken hand, that's not going to keep him out. Look at that club now. The officials look at it and they say you can't use it as a weapon. It's got to be padded up properly so nobody can get hurt. So he has to get in a left-handed stance. The left hand down. He's a right-handed guy. Can't use that right hand.
Pressure coming underneath the bird. Not enough for a 1st down. Farley grabbed him immediately on the slant route. Kansas 2 yards shy. They'll have to punt it back to Nebraska.
This defensive football team, Drew, in my opinion, this is the 2nd time I've seen them. They are the most athletic, fast, quick defensive football team I've ever seen in college football. And you know what? The 1-back set made Charlie McBride make his move. You know, the 1-back set changed college football about as much as the option did, because Charlie McBride was going down there to those bowl games and Coach Osborne against Miami, Florida State, people like that. They went to the 4-3 defense. Instead of the 5-2, went to the 4-3. And as we talked about, those linebackers are oversized defensive backs. So you don't have to make substitutions in the nickel. You can put those linebackers linebackers on wide receivers in coverage, and people try to run at them, they can't get it done because these guys will hit you, they'll strike you, they've got speed. They basically run a nickel or a dime every snap. They almost have 6 defensive backs on the field every single defensive play.
It is frightening how fast they are.
Oh, it's incredible.
They did steal a page from the Florida schools.
Right. You can't, you know what, you look at some plays. I mean, I've watched some plays tonight look like they're going to go somewhere. There's a helmet on a helmet, and they separate and close like heat-seeking missiles. You can't get it away from them. It's incredible.
Let's look over the last few years what has happened to the preseason #1 according to the Associated Press poll. This year or last year was Florida State, of course. Nebraska, back-to-back national champions. Florida State in '93 went wire to wire. Miami, Florida State 3 times has been the preseason #1 for Bobby Bowden. This year it was Nebraska, and right now it's the Florida Gators, #1 in the nation. Royal will punt it deep to one of 3 players, and this is McFarland from the 35, and he'll get it to the 38. Pretty good coverage by Kansas. 37-yard punt and a minimal return.
You know, Drew, I think first down is a huge down in any college football game. Kansas has averaged 2.2 yards on 5 first-down plays. Nebraska has averaged 11.8 yards on 5 first-down plays. So Kansas has found themselves out of rhythm, off schedule. Nebraska has gotten over a first down every first-down play. So it's a big difference in this game right now.
They fake the option. Now they're going to throw it. Looking down the middle toward Cheatham, and the catch is made. Kenny Cheatham with a circle grab at the 27.
Well, now you got a confident quarterback. Tom Osborne knows that Scott Frost is feeling good out there. He is throwing the football very, very well. Nice route down the football field. Cheatham runs a simple post pattern. They're in man coverage, ends up being a little crossing route, and he just runs away from his coverage guy, Jason Harris. Safety can't get there soon enough to help. Nice effort by quarterback, offensive line, receiver, all executed well.
This kid has really handled not only the pressure of playing quarterback at Nebraska, the pressure of following up Tommy Frazier. They faked a reverse, and it was actually a gift to the fullback.
They ended up giving it to the reverse.
They did give it to the reverse guy. That faked me out completely. It was Wiggins with the ball.
That's nice ball handling.
You know
right
what we
there.
need? We need the Fox tracker.
Yeah, that's right. Put a little.
I had no idea who had it.
A little prestidigitation out there by the quarterback. Little sleight of hand, little magic, and Scott Frost fakes to the fullback, gives to the wingback coming in a reverse, and Wiggins is around the corner for big yards on first down.
2nd and 5. Amon Green met in the hole by Tony Blevins, actually a couple of yards downfield. He'll be about 2 shy of a first down. 7-0 Nebraska, and that will in all probability be the final snap of chapter #1 in Lincoln. The Cornhuskers, with an 81-yard drive, have a 7-0 lead. They have won 27 in a row against the University of Kansas. Nebraska, the Cornhuskers leading the Jayhawks 7-0. Drew Goodman, Dave Lapham, Lisa Molosky, and the Huskers on the move again. They have a 3rd and about 2.5 from the plus 20-yard line. Here's the touchdown maker, Sheldon Jackson. Amon Green with room. First down and more to the 11-yard line. Ronnie Ward finally grabbed him by a jersey and brought him to the turf. They'll move the chains again for the Huskers.
Cozied up to his fullback, Makovica, very, very nicely. Showed tremendous patience. The offensive line got a surge. Makovica got in there and got his block. Green broke a tackle. Man, I tell you, Nebraska, they just keep coming at you with different offensive sets, Drew. They've got 10 different formations. They can run the option out of all 10 of them. A lot of pressure if you're a linebacker for Kansas.
Frost changing the play. Turns to Makovica and Green. The crowd helps him out. Here's Green with a blocker on the corner. He'll walk in. Touchdown. What a block by
Makovica.
Joel Makovica made it happen. Amon Green. That's a touchdown and two-hand touch.
And the key is, yeah, you're exactly right. He's untouched. The dirty work was done by the boys up front. And Makovica, the fullback, number 45. Watch him get out on the perimeter. The pitch man takes the quarterback's taken. The pitch man is out there. Watch Makovica hook. He gets tied up, sustains his block, gets outside position. No chance for Blevins. Tremendous effort. Watch him sustain this block. Ooh, almost a little hole, but he got away with it. The inside hand.
The extra point was good. 14-0. They run a clinic on offense. They really do. In terms of fundamentals, one of the things they look at, Dave, with their wide receivers, not so much how they catch the football. That's almost a bonus. Those guys are, you like to give away badges for offensive linemen. If a fullback wins an honorary Hog title, their offensive linemen are like, their wideouts are like O-linemen at times.
The best blockers in the country, and a lot of people will tell you the best blocking wide receiver, maybe in the history of the National Football League, is a guy named Irving Fryer, who played his college football here at Nebraska. And I'll tell you what, you have to block to play fullback and wide receiver at Nebraska. And Amon Green loves the people that do the dirty work for him. I tell you, you give Green that type of opportunity, he's going to kill you.
Amon Green has been playing with turf toe the last couple of weeks. They say he's closer to 100% this week. He certainly looked that way on that run.
You know, Drew, the Nebraska's had the football 3 possessions. They've already used 7 different offensive linemen. They're rotating a lot of components to that pipeline. Taylor's already played center and guard.
Pretty good boot into the wind. Isaac Bird, very dangerous from the 6. Not so dangerous there. Dropped at the 19-yard line. Coming down and covering the kick was Travis Toline. And again, we check in with Lisa Molosky.
Guys, this is what is called a black shirt. It is used during practice, and they give these to the first-team defense. These are very coveted jerseys. About 20 years ago, they started giving the black shirts to the starters on the defense. This is Jason Peters' jersey, 55. It's got marks all over it. I'll tell you what, these are so coveted. I want to make sure he gets it back because at 6'5", 285, I don't want to take him on after the game. Drew.
Van lost the ball. Nebraska has it.
Tomich.
It's Jared Tomich. You're right. A member of the black shirts.
That's right. There's 15 black shirts. All the starters on defense. If the #1 punt returner is a defensive player, he gets one. And it is a very emotional thing when the defensive players get those black shirts. And here's the reason why. Watch Tomich separate from the block. And he hits Van, strips him, recovers the football, makes the tackle, forces the fumble, recovers the fumble, all in one play. Gold star on the forehead.
And he gets bonus points for that.
Big time.
Frost goes straight back, slip screen, Holbein getting through. Holbein will score. Wow. Nebraska can get on you in a hurry. 2 touchdowns within a minute.
You feel like you're in the midst of a natural disaster. It's a tidal wave. It keeps coming at you. You can't get out of the way of it. You're in the midst of Jaws right now, and you run out of harpoons. The Red Sea is everywhere.
Good effort by Holbein, the senior from the state of Nebraska.
Kansas had a defender, Drew. He just ran away from everybody. They kind of over-pursued. They were there.
Chris Brown. Perfect on the extra point. 21-0 Huskers.
Holbein is there. The defenders, good blocks down the field by the offensive line. Once he finds the crease, it's golden goalposts.
Popular the last couple of weeks in Nebraska, despite winning. Frost 4 of 5 early, 103 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and the Huskers rolling already over the Jayhawks. And the last touchdown pass to the senior Holbein. Brendan does doesn't get rewarded much for all of the fine blocks he makes downfield. But he did a good job when he got his mitts on the ball. Broke a tackle on a slip screen and got in the end zone. One-play drive. This is a very short kick and a fair catch called by Isaac Bird. You seldom see that on a kick, but it is perfectly legal, and Kansas will have it at the 23-yard line. Total offense. This is a contrast to a year ago. Nebraska won big over KU a year ago, but special teams played a huge role because at halftime, Dave, Kansas outgained Nebraska by about 150 yards in the first half, yet trailed 14-3.
Yeah, and actually they had more first downs and more yards offense for the whole game and lost 41-3. So kicking game became a factor in that one.
But it's been all Huskers so far. Up route, Bird's out there. Bird has it. Bird will go. 77 yards, no flags. Touchdown, Kansas.
Now they had the wind at their back. In the first quarter, Kansas going into the wind couldn't get much done. That time they matched Bird up against Brown, the true freshman, and Bird ran by him. Bird was flying. Johnner put it out there. Here's the matchup. Bird and Brown. Nothing fancy. Off the line of scrimmage, releases clean, and then just turns the Jets on. Johnner's got the wind at his back, hits him perfectly. Brown's beaten, he knows it. Bird knows he's got a touchdown. Huge play.
And the extra point is good by Jeff McCord. Maybe that'll give Kansas some life. Bird, a catch now in 18 consecutive games, and they did pick on the freshman, Dave.
Well, they wanted to get this matchup, Bird on Brown, and Bird came out the victor here, not even close. And Bird, this guy, he was all conference as a center fielder in baseball, 11th round pick by the Cardinals. He was undecided until June if he was going to come back and play football, but big play potential like that. Johnner and the coaches in Kansas are awfully glad that Bird came back. I'll tell you, the last two sport all-conference player, Nolan Cromwell. Great quarterback at Kansas as well as a track man.
Let's get more on Mr. Bird. Here's Lisa.
Well, Dave, as you mentioned, Bird was drafted in the 11th round this past spring by the St. Louis Cardinals. I talked to him before the game. He said he will go back to spring training in March. The football draft will happen while he is at spring training. He said he'll wait and see if he's lucky enough to get drafted by somebody, and then he'll have a tough decision to make, football or baseball. He said he likes baseball better, but he figures he can make a little more money in football right off the bat. Back to you guys.
I'll tell you, the other thing about this guy, averaging over 35 yards per punt return. Look at this kick with the wind at the back.
McCord kicks it halfway to Grand Island, Nebraska.
Bye-bye. Is there helium in that ball?
I mean, that thing was thumped. No chance for Damon Benning there to return it. He's also a dangerous one in the kick return game. And looks like Benning's going to stay in, play a little eye back.
You know, Drew, for the second week in a row, we've got wind. That's a huge factor. Texas A&M, Kansas State last week, you were hamstrung going into the wind, and you opened up when you had it at your back. Nebraska has got the wind in their face now. Scott Frost threw a touchdown with the wind at his back. I'll tell you, though, the wide receiver screen was into the wind. Let's see.
Damon Benning straight ahead. Ronnie Ward tackles him, pick up a 5. They have the most mundane, run-of-the-mill 5-yard gains you've ever seen.
It's almost like a rugby scrum. It's nothing pretty. You go up into there into a mass of humanity, but the red jersey humanity is always knocking the opposition humanity backwards. And they get a surge, and then the back hammers it up in there, and you go back to the huddle, and you pick up 4 or 5 yards, and that dog will hunt. You know, that's a good snap.
Listen to the size of their offensive line. 305, 310, 305, 305, and the run is 290. Benning, he'll dart for a first down. The senior from Omaha, terrific student and a fine player. Let's get our roundup of college football, the top 25, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Arizona State, after coming from behind the last couple of weeks, they win easy. Great game between Colorado and Texas in the Big 12, and Colorado with John Hessler at the controls wins it. Baylor over Iowa State. Kansas State, football game, it appears, with Oklahoma.
Boy, Oklahoma's woken up.
Yeah, they have under John Blake.
Yeah.
Missouri, they get a win for Larry Smith. Tech over A&M in College Station. Texas Tech and Spike Dykes, they could come out of that Southern Division yet.
They're going to make some noise. Good football team.
And Nebraska's a little bit confused with their set, and Scott Frost will call a timeout. And he whispered something to Vershawn Jackson, who I think lined up on the wrong side. Right there is about as hot as you will ever see Dr. Tom Osborne. The Huskers leading 21-7. We're back to Lincoln after this. 75,000 plus the 212 consecutive sellout in Lincoln. 23rd year for that man, Tom Osborne. And we were talking to Charlie McBride yesterday, the longtime defensive coordinator here in Lincoln. He says, I've been on a headset for 20 years with Tom Osborne, and honest to goodness, I have never heard him utter a swear, not even close.
Even in the heat of battle, this is one of the finest Christian men you're ever going to run across, I'll tell you.
First down and 10 for Nebraska, 2 tight ends. Here's a reverse look. They fake that. Frost down the middle, has it complete. It is Jeff Lake, a third-team wideout, and that was hung out on a rope.
It really was, into the wind. Now, Nebraska, they declined to take the football when they won the coin toss. They wanted to have the wind at their back. Look at Frost cut the wind. The way you do it is to throw a howitzer like that, tight revolution, just cut through the wind. Excellent ball right between the 8 and the 9 by Scott Frost. What execution.
Just the second catch on the season for the junior from Columbus, Nebraska. Joel Makovica breaks through. Makovica still going to the 14-yard line.
Now, Drew, he picked up about 15 yards after first contact. Yards after contact, the old yak. And I'll tell you, Makovica, there's a big-time yak right there, ran right through the tackle. When you're a fullback, it's nothing fancy. You're going to go north and south. You know you're not a moves man. He breaks clean, hit. He's just Gandhi. Runs through another tackle, about another 5 yards after second contact. This guy's a horse. He's a great blocker. He can take it north and south for you in a heartbeat.
Hey, Dave, there's always a Makovic at fullback. Remember Jeff?
Yep.
As Damon Benning gets just a couple. McGraw closed down quickly, the nose tackle. He got help from Steve Bratt. But Joel Makovica's older brother, Jeff, has a national championship ring.
Drew, every fullback on this Nebraska roster walk on. No scholarship players when they first came to Nebraska at the fullback position. The walk-on tradition here at Nebraska is awesome. They award about 4 scholarships a year for walk-on players. Tomich, initially a walk-on, All-American defensive end. That's a heck of a story.
Give you an idea, they've dressed 120 tonight. Benning on the toss sweep, gets to the 10, and then a bunch of white shirts close it down. Ronnie Ward led the charge again, number 46, the 225-pound senior from St. Louis.
Of course, Makovica, he had his moment of fame. Now he goes back to the saw the wood. Always has to do, and that's to knock linebackers around. He ends up pushing one to the ground. That's the role the fullback plays at Nebraska. Every once in a while, he's going to dart the ball up the middle, but his major role is basically a glorified guard in the backfield.
A lot of double and triple jerseys when you dress 120, Dave.
Oh, you're not kidding. We've got rosters all over, the floor, the ceiling, everywhere.
Option look. Frost needs 6. Frost will be better. Touchdown, Huskers.
Man.
Little speed option, and Scott Frost carried it in for the score. His 5th rushing touchdown of the year.
I'll tell you, a must for Kansas. I mean, one of their goals was to make Frost beat him. Well, he certainly has. He's thrown for touchdowns. Now he's going to run for one. And there's no substitute for speed. Speed kills. That time, Scott Frost killed the Kansas defense on the perimeter with pure foot speed.
They love their Huskers here in Lincoln. And Chris Brown adds the extra point. It's 28-7 with 10:47 to go in the second quarter. It's amazing. The articles we're reading all week long talking about how poor the offense is performing and what is wrong with Scott Frost. There's nothing wrong with Scott Frost, and there's nothing wrong with the Husker offense. Of course, last year they averaged 52-plus points a game, and they had Tommy Frazier.
Take a look right here. Patrick Brown. Has he got the quarterback, or does he have the pitch man? I don't think he's really sure. He's cut the pitch, man. Who had the quarterback? Boy, the linebacker scraping just couldn't get there. Patrick Brown took the pitch, and that was the Kansas defensive goal. Eliminate the pitch man, make Scott Frost turn it up the football field and beat you. Inside linebacker scraping over the top. Scott Frost's foot speed was just too much. Could not get there. 5 yards behind. No go.
Yeah, the scrutiny of this kid, Scott Frost, has been most unfair. This kid is really a freshman in the program at Nebraska. He's a transfer from Stanford. He ran mostly scout team a year ago, sitting out his transfer year. Isaac Byrd at the 15. Straight ahead to about the 27. Nebraska takes great pride in their special teams, and they almost always win the battle of special teams. Last year, there was not a game all season that they didn't win a battle.
Well, and Coach Osborne said that it's been the constant of this year's football team. Special teams have been week in and week out the biggest constant. The last time Kansas had the ball, a one-play drive. Nebraska last year had 7 one-play drives. That's the biggest difference this year. No big play, one-play drives.
Fullback Galbraith, then he tucks it up quickly on the quick snap count and gets about 4 yards. So it'll be 2nd down and 6. Kansas trailing by 21. Last time they had it, they had a one-play drive. 77-yard hookup johnner to Isaac Byrd.
Boy, Isaac Byrd, I tell you, he showed some wheels, didn't he? I mean, this kid can really, really run. There's no doubt about that.
And he hit 275 in rookie ball. Toss sweep, Eric Van, who can run, but no place to run. John Hess from his middle backer spot slid over and put his pads on Mr. Van, which terminated that play.
John Hess had 11 tackles last week. 4 of them were tackles for loss. Number 44 in the red. Center can't get to him, can't take the angle. As Van tries to turn it up the football field, Hess intersects him and takes him to the turf. He blocked the kick last week. He had 11 tackles. He did everything for this Cornhusker football team. This kid's a 6'4", 250-pound middle linebacker. That's pretty unusual.
Johnner needs 6 yards, trying to break contain. He does get it away, and it is incomplete. Thought we might see a flag for grounding. Brian Shaw was the one chasing.
I'll tell you, sometimes you just run faster than you can. And that time Johnner was. I mean, he's not the most mobile athlete at the quarterback position, but Shaw was breathing down his neck. He got outside the pocket, not intentionally grounding the football. He got it down the field to an intended receiver, although not accurately enough.
Dean Royal will punt it. 3 Huskers back. They've used this alignment for a while. And this is a very good punt with the wind. Wiggins right up the middle. Chevin Wiggins will get it across midfield. Tackled by the man who punted the football, Dean Royal. Otherwise, he's still running. A punt of 51, a return of 23 by the sophomore from Palmetto, Florida, Chevin Wiggins.
Watch the block by Benning. Boom! That's a knockdown right there. There's a tailback throwing a block to get his return man off to the races. Royal, head across the bow. He's the guy that kicked the football, and he takes him down. He's going to get dogged by his teammates here, getting tackled by the punter.
Here's another option. Frost trying to find somewhere to go, and he's not going to elude McGraw. McGraw at 280 pounds, got his mitts on him and hauled him down.
Well, Kansas is doing a better job of defending the option right here. Watch the outside people. Somebody, you have a predetermined who's going to take the pitch man. Outside linebacker takes the pitch man. The scraping linebacker cuts off Frost to the outside. He has to turn it back to the inside, load up the box to the outside, and make him turn it up to his teammates.
They got 2. It's assignment football. Counter trey. D'Angelo Evans, the true freshman, dropped by Bratton. Evans falls forward. He's an exciting player. He packs 210 pounds on about a 5'8" frame. He's from Wichita, Kansas, so the folks in Lawrence and the folks in Manhattan disappointed he got out of state.
You're not kidding. He's averaging over 8 yards a carry on the season. Boyd Epley, the director of athletic performance in that weight room, says that D'Angelo Evans can already squat 525 pounds, 5 reps. That's unbelievable.
That is extraordinary. 3rd down and 3. Strong right formation. They run right. Evans trying to cut it back. And he hops ahead for the 1st down. He did that all on his own. He picked a spot, went up in the air, and got 4.
Well, he tried to be a little Edwin Moses there with shoulder pads. Hurdle, and then you get kissed. But boom. Sometimes you lose your feet, and you lose all your thrust, all your power, and you get abused in midair. Boy, you're lucky not an injury right there. Brett McGraw had people falling on the back of his legs. Now, he's a cowboy. He works in the rodeo. He's a roper. So that time, I mean, he had a bunch of cattle around him that time.
13 1st downs already for the Huskers. Frost.
Yep.
Tight end. Jackson. Inside the 15 of the 13. Vershawn's 2nd reception of the game. Scott Frost playing with great confidence.
Excellent scheme. I mean, a misdirection, play action fake. Frost is on the perimeter by himself. The Kansas linebackers are running around like a fire drill at Madison Square Garden. They don't, know where to really turn. Boy, there's all kinds of room to throw the football between the linebackers and secondary. Safety Blevins is the first one to make contact. Well conceived, well executed.
Frost 6 of 7, 158 yards. Makovic on the give. Not a whole lot.
Man, I'll tell you, Nebraska throwing the football tonight into the wind with the wind at their back. And mostly it's been the short intermediate routes, getting the ball to the tight end. But Frost throws a very tight spiral, Drew. I mean, and he's got some arm strength. They say he can throw the football between 75 and 80 yards. I mean, this kid has got a howitzer hanging off that right shoulder, and he's cutting the wind tonight. He really is.
And he's a 4.5 guy in the 40.
And he's a great student. I wonder if he ever had a pimple or anything.
Waggle action. And that one could have been intercepted, but Blevins wasn't looking. And now flags come in. Might be in the area of defensive holding or interference on Vershawn Jackson.
Yeah, somebody was riding him before the arrival of the football. He got a hand on it to deflect it, but I don't think Blevins ever saw the ball. He was playing the receiver. He was going up to make a hit, detonate the receiver a little bit with dynamite caps in his shoulder pads, and they're going to call the interference, though, before the tip of the football.
There's Blevins in the left of your screen.
Jackson's the intended receiver. There's a little bit of contact in Jackson in his arm before the ball's arrival. He tips it away, but the pass interference occurs before the tip.
(28-7). The Huskers leading the Jayhawks with 6:27 to go in the 2nd quarter. Drew Goodman, Dave Lapham, Lisa Molosky. Rare night game here in Lincoln, but in the future we might see more night games because they're going to put in permanent lights and a whole slew of skyboxes.
I'll tell you, there are some stars in the night here. I'll tell you, offensively they're executing.
Makovic, the fullback, will get it to the 5-yard line. Again, Blevins has to come up from his strong safety spot.
I'll tell you what, the pipeline is being retooled on a series by series basis. I mean, you've got a nice situation here, though, Drew, because you're involving 7 or 8 guys up front. If you have an injury, it really is easy to replace the interchangeable drill bit, the tool parts. And these guys are operating very well up front and keeping themselves fresher by playing more people.
Actually at the 10-yard line, not the 5. Frost, again, all kinds of time. Will tuck it down.
Wow.
And he almost squeezed through. He got it to the 5. Ronnie Ward grabbed an ankle and held on. It'll set up a 3rd down and about 3.
Now, I'll tell you, Scott Frost is making quick decisions tonight. Once he makes his decision, he is going with it. No tentativeness. Early in the season, they thought his eyes were a little bit like deer in the headlights, but not tonight, boy. He's making a decision, know where to go with the ball, tuck it, and make a play out of it. make something happen when it breaks down. He's doing it well.
Power eye, D'Angelo Evans, second effort, first down, Nebraska. He was hit at the 5-yard line and pirouetted ahead for the first down.
Well, we talked about him squatting 525 pounds, multiple reps. That's leg drive. Look at the big boys up front, surge a little bit. And then Evans, with those powerful legs, keeps him churning. He is not going to quit on any snap. He's smelling the goal line. And watch the fullback again. He's the key. He gets his lead block at the linebacker level on Bratton, sustains it, bends his back, and D'Angelo Evans can twist it to the inside.
Pretty good contact in there. Evans will scoot in untouched. 5th touchdown of the night for the Huskers.
And it's simple, nothing fancy. It's just the isolation play. You get inside the 10-yard line. You say to your fullback, I want you to knock the linebacker out of the hole. What does he do? Knocks the linebacker out of the hole. Evans has already crossed the goal line before Ward can make a play. Ward's 4 yards in the end zone before he collisions D'Angelo Evans because Makovica gets a helmet right between his sternum.
Chris Brown, another extra point. And he pumps it through. Joel Makovica isn't even the starter. Brian Schuster's the starter.
I love blocking fullbacks.
Yeah, Brian Schuster's banged up a little bit. Let's throw another one out there.
Our Southwest Airlines storyline. Nebraska heading into this game looking for a little more from their offense, and boy, have they produced. Nebraska has scored on their last 5 possessions, but the defense strong as ever. Rushing defense allowing tonight -1 yard a carry. Back to you guys.
It's amazing what they've done so far. Eric Van trying to make something happen for Kansas. A good return out to the 36-yard line. Spilled by Jeff Wells.
Roots in the game here at Nebraska. He started his career here at Nebraska. He's got 2 torn ACLs, Drew. He tore the right one here at Nebraska, the left one at Kansas. He's got no anterior cruciate ligaments in either knee. And this is interesting because, as you mentioned, you got a young man, Stiebel, who started his career at Nebraska at center, and Roots at quarterback. You got a former Nebraska battery here exchanging the ball.
Roots will put it up immediately. This is Hosea Friday cutting back, and he works hard for about 6 yards. Dropped by Jay Foreman, inside linebacker who plays behind John Hess. Foreman's a sophomore from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and he's got a famous daddy.
I tell you, pretty good running back.
Chuck Foreman, his dad.
Foreman, Minnesota Vikings, University of Miami in college, Miami, Florida. He could play the game. He was smooth.
Well, you talked about Tony Galbraith, the uncle of Eric Galbraith. He was a great receiver. Chuck Foreman was a great receiver also.
Absolutely.
Roots, they screen, and a pretty good pickup there for Sanders. Should be enough for a first down out close to midfield. Grant Wistrom made the tackle. Also Jason Wilkes. 35-7 with 3:49 to go. One of the great things about Wistrom, Dave, is his motor.
Well, they never quit. I mean, they pursue the football, and the offensive linemen getting good blocks down the football field. In fact, they're taking secondary people off the field to the sidelines. They're eliminating them as defenders, and Wistrom realizing that, pursuing inside out, staying after the play.
1st and 10 for Kansas. Roots out of the gun. Another good throw to Hosea Friday. The tackle made by Jamel Williams, the outside backer.
Tomich slow to get up. Tomich is limping a little bit as he works his way off the football field. The definite hitch in the get along right there. He came out of Indiana as a walk-on. Purdue didn't want to take him into their program. Take a look at the catch by Hosea Friday. Runs a little route. Excellent reception of the football, but Roots had some mustard on that one. You know, they thought Roots was a pretty good quarterback. Drew threw on the run exceptionally well, moved his team very well when he's here at Nebraska.
Fullback give, it's Sanders, and he'll plow ahead for a couple, very close to a first down. Scott Saltzman will get up last. Number 74 in red.
Glenn Mason knew he had a tiger by the tail tonight. You know, with the adversity, June Henley's suspension, he made a quick decision on that. And, you know, the young man made a mistake. There's no doubt about that. But the three things that Coach Mason talks about is commitment, trust, and belief. And the biggest problem he had with June Henley, over drinking on a Wednesday evening till early Thursday morning, is not a commitment to helping his football team beat Nebraska.
Shuttle pass. Eric Van makes a couple of people miss, but not enough as he got just a couple. Jay Foreman, Jason Wiltz in there. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Actually, this is the best movement by Kansas in the football game, other than the obvious, the one-play drive, the pass up top to Isaac Bird that went 77 yards for a touchdown. And Roots on this drive is 4 of 4. And actually, there's only been one incompletion thrown by Kansas. Johnner was 6 of 7. Ball's carried by Eric Van. He runs into Grant Wistrom. 6'5" and 250 pounds. He was a high school All-American from Webb City, Missouri. And he was a third-team All-American last year. And Tomich, who was on the sideline up and walking, there he is, was a first-team All-American. What a pair of defensive ends.
Boy, I'll tell you, you can see that Tomich has built that body up in the weight room. Man, that's a strong, powerful-looking kid right there.
They need the 32-yard line. Roots throwing, too hot for Van, closing quickly, Mike Minter.
Well, Nebraska came with 6. They came with a blitz. They decided to heat Roots up. Little side adjust. Receiver and quarterback on the same page. You see the linebackers blitzing. They run the slant. Roots just can't hook up. He knows as soon as he releases the football, it's not quite accurate enough. Kansas going for it on 4th down here, Drew.
Well, they're down by 4 touchdowns. There's 1:20 to go before the end of the second quarter. And they're in that gray area, the plus 38-yard line.
They've done well on 4th down. 10 of 18, 5 touchdowns.
Swing it out, and it's too high for Sanders, and they'll turn it over on downs. And had they hooked up with Sanders, I believe he would have had enough room to get the first down.
You know, Ryan Twilliger, he came on the blitz the last play. This time, let's take a look at him. He's in a position to blitz, and he comes again. But he drops off. He realizes that his back, who was supposed to pick him up as a blocker, released in the route. So he decides, hey, I can't just let him run out there into space. Mark Sanders, I got to change my direction, reroute myself, and get out there. And because he did that, Roots overthrew the football.
Not only that, he's 6'5", so Roots had to get it up in the air to get it over to Williger.
Get it over the Sequoia.
So the minute 15 to go. Scott Frost goes to the air. Ball's in the air on the tip as Wiggins couldn't hold on. And fortunately for Nebraska, it fell harmlessly to the turf, and it took only 3 seconds. 35-7 Huskers.
Now the thing is, you think, okay, you throw on 1st down, it's incomplete. Now you're married to the passing game. Not necessarily if you're Nebraska and you run the option as well as you run it, and you run your power running game. But here they are in the shotgun. So this is their drop back passing game. They're going to throw the football.
Double twin formation. Frost to Wiggins, same play. They'll have a 1st down. 13-yard pickup. Blevins and Bratton brought him down. And no huddle as Nebraska quickly to the line of scrimmage.
2-minute drill. Here we go. Another opportunity for Scott Frost to grow as a quarterback.
Saw Chevin Wiggins signaling the play to Kenny Cheatham on the outside. He grabbed his neck, and I guarantee you that was some sort of play signal.
Absolutely. It was a pre-snap read, and he wanted to convey to his receiver, make sure they were on the same page. Tommy Frazier, in our conversation with him yesterday, Drew, he mentioned that once he understood this offense, he audibilized 60% of the time at the line of scrimmage. Very sophisticated offense Tom Osborne has established here at Nebraska. Puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback to make great decisions, getting out of a bad play into a good one, as well as in the option and throwing the football. And that young man, Tommy Frazier, a tremendous football intelligence.
Here's the pass to Amon Green, the shuttle pass, and Amon has it inside the 40-yard line. Another 1st down for Nebraska.
Great call, because once again, if it's not executed, it's not a fumble, it's a forward pass.
They have it at the 37, 59 seconds left. They crank up the clock again. Nebraska doing a very good job. Blitz coming. Down the middle, the tight end is, or excuse me, it's John Vedral, not the tight end. It's a split end, Vedral. His first catch of the ball game, 10th on the year.
There's the signal again to his wideouts. 2 hands up by the throat. That's you wonder if it's a crossing pattern. I guess that's a signal to stop the clock. That's kill. That must be the kill signal.
Right,
I'm going to ground the ball, stop the clock. That's what he did before he stopped the clock the last time. So, no, nothing real, I guess, espionage to figure out about that one. But this, I'll tell you what, Scott Frost is throwing the football tonight probably as well as he has all season long. And, you know, once you get to the midway point of the season with a young quarterback, the light starts to go on a little bit. This kid, he'd not played much quarterback. He was at Stanford. He was a safety. Tom Osborne, you know, would like to have a guy redshirt before they throw him in there.
Frost throwing. It's complete to Wiggins, out of bounds at the 15, which will stop the clock and pick up the first down. And Nebraska doing this without any timeouts. And for a guy, again, not to belabor this point, but for a guy that does not have a lot of experience in the offense and has been much maligned, he's running it like he's a 5th-year senior.
He really is. And Drew, the reason Tom Osborne was so upset with Rashawn Jackson earlier, they had to burn a timeout because he didn't know where to line up in the formation, and now it's a little costly.
Blitz coming. Frost, Holbein, same play we saw a few moments ago.
Same result.
Touchdown.
Wow.
That was exceptionally well done in the 2-minute drill for Nebraska. With no timeouts, Scott Frost and that offense executed a perfect drive.
I'll tell you what. He has thrown for 3, Scott Frost, and he's run for 1. Tom Osborne with a little pat in the back. Amazing execution of the 2-minute drill.
Chris Brown again. Perfect snap, perfect hold, and the same with the kick.
Holbein right here. You see some offensive linemen come out, get into the action on the screen. The 2 inside receivers will clear out, run a little crossing route, and then start to block. Adam True gets his block up the perimeter. He's gone for the touchdown. Frost knows it. Holbein, wide receiver screen number 2, touchdown number 2. Excited young quarterback.
And he should be. 11 of 15, 220 yards in the air, and a career-high 3 touchdowns. Wood River celebrating tonight. If there's anybody at home in Wood River, I think they're all here in Lincoln.
It could be.
42-7. You know, there's a term in baseball, Dave. A pitcher can give you the comfortable collar, and they talk about a guy going 0 for 4, yet he feels like, oh, I was in the ball game, and I thought I had good looks. That's what Nebraska can do. They can put a comfortable 42 on you.
Really. I mean, you don't realize how efficient they have been offensively until you look at the scoreboard. 42 points. Not many of his passes have hit the turf tonight. He has been on the money.
Brown. Well, he gets into this one. Into the wind, and he still kicks it through the end zone. So Chris Brown's all jacked up.
You know what, Drew? The wind was supposed to shift from southwest to northwest. I wonder if it shifted here. They said as the game went along, the wind was going to change direction. The way that kick went, I almost wonder if he's kicking into the wind anymore.
It's swirling, and it's kind of faded a little bit right now. World Series Game 6 at Yankee Stadium. 2nd inning, no score between the Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. And of course, this is the Braves night. Nobody can win at home.
I know. Nobody has won at their respective home ground. That's amazing. What a series. Yankees, great comeback.
Roots, the quarterback, 20 seconds left. He gives to Galbraith, who tumbles into Jason Peter. Peter, 285 pounds. He's a junior from Locust, New Jersey. And that will be the final play of the first half.
Look at that club, boy. He's the real deal. He's going to play football no matter what.
They thought he'd be out 2 or 3 weeks. He says, no, I'm not going to miss a practice. And he didn't.
Look at that club.
42-7. Nebraska impenetrable on defense, and their offensive execution near flawless. They score on 6 consecutive possessions, and we go down to Lisa Miloski with probably a content Tom Osborne. Lisa.
Coach, you entered this game looking for a little better production from your offense, and boy, you certainly got it in the first half.
Yeah, we've played a lot better. I think Scott Frost has thrown the ball very well. Of course, we haven't turned it over offensively. I think we had one on defense or on the kicking game. So we've been pleased with the way we played. We gave up the big pass play, but just had a guy locked up with a good player, man-to-man, and got beat.
So far, so good, though. Thanks for stopping. Have a good second half.
Okay, thanks.
Back to you guys.
Always calm and in control. Dr. Tom Osborne. You'd never know. They led by 35 points. 42-7. Huskers at home. Let's go to our LA studios and Randy Sparagi. 42-7. Huskers down on the field with Glenn Mason is our Lisa Miloski. Lisa, take it away.
Thanks, Drew. Coach, the Jayhawks did some things well in the first half, but as you know very well, it is always tough to play in Nebraska.
Well, you know, their offense has been struggling by Nebraska standards, and Frost looks like an all-pro out there today. And, you know, we made some mistakes. We did some good things. I think we scored the first touchdown on in about 4 games, but they're an awful good ball club, and we made way too many mistakes, and we're way behind, and we got a half to go, and we always pride ourselves that we never give up. We play hard, and that's what we intend to do.
Well, good luck. Thanks for stopping. Back to you, Drew, Dave.
A gracious Glenn Mason. The Jayhawks will get the football to begin the second half, and that'll skid through the end zone. Chris Brown has not allowed Kansas really to return the football. Let's check in again with the Southwest Airlines team bus for Kansas. And Dave, what's their report card?
Well, the crisis has remained a crisis. It hasn't been a whole lot of opportunity.
That's pretty accurate.
Defrost Scott, he's defrosted them. Scott Frost has played exceptionally well. They wanted him to beat him, and he has. They have been out of rhythm offensively. First play of the game, they were throwing for a 6-yard loss running the counter. It's kind of, for the most part, been out of rhythm. Other than that, one 77-yard touchdown pass to Mr. Bird.
So in other words, there's going to be a parent-teacher conference tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Swing pass. Oh, loose football. Galbraith loses it, and Nebraska cannot cover it. Has had an opportunity inbounds, and it went out of bounds. The big stick from Michael Booker on Eric Galbraith.
Man, book him, Dano. I'll tell you what, this is a shot. The ball it's a completion, helmet across the bow. Tremendous hit right there. And really, the hit was made by Jamel Williams at the linebacker level rather than Booker. Williams puts his helmet across the football, knocking it free, and it bounces out of bounds. Kansas retains possession, but look at Drew. They're off schedule. They lost over 10 yards on first down.
Johnner in trouble again. Swing pass the other way, and this time Galbraith drops it. And Johnner paid for that. And that's a quick release type of throw, Dave.
It really is. You know, roll a little bit, and that is right to the sternum. Wistrom, just a shot. I mean, man, that is running right through the quarterback. Johnner right now trying to decide, is this Lincoln or is it Lawrence, or do I want to be here? Or
do you know what? Somebody else might have to call the play in the huddle. I don't know if he's got his breath.
Those eyes are woozy right now. They really are. He took a shot from Frazier.
Jamal Williams with that hit a few moments ago. 28, not 20.
Right.
Michael Booker is 20. 1 of 7 tonight on third downs. The Jayhawks. It is 3rd and 20. Johnner is going to get sacked by Peter. And again, it's a 3-step drop. Ordinarily impossible to get pressure on a 3-step drop, but Nebraska, a red swarm.
Well, you know, they talk about sometimes they 2-gap to protect linebackers, and then they decide to 1-gap. Boy, they just get up the football field. Peter from the inside, the outside rush right there, also provided by, well, I guess it was Chad Kelsey.
Dean Royal, his hoofs near the back of the end zone. And this is a pretty good effort, a real good effort, in fact. Over the head of McFarland and covering the football at the 41. That is Mike Brown, and it's a pretty good play because he was unsure as to whether or not it had hit one of his teammates. So he covers it up at the 41-yard line. Great punt by Royal, a 56-yard boot. And now we get the stellar report card from the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the first half. They're Southwest Airlines.
Yes, Kansas flunked, but Nebraska gets an A+. They certainly did bring it early. They broke Kansas' spirit right away. The only self-destruction they had was fumbling the punt, but they recovered from that. Their kicking game has been extremely solid, other than the muff punt. They're doing well, and the score reflects it, 42-7.
Ahman Green, big opening. And he rips off 12 yards. Blevins and Ward combined to bring him down. He has such a quick burst. And Ahman Green now staying down.
Ahman Green, a little bit of an ankle problem. That the turf toe, I guess it was the real. But now it looks more like an ankle problem. Left ankle seems to be where he's grabbing. And let's take a look at this counter play run by Nebraska to perfection. Pull the right guard, and right tackle. Guard pulls, kicks out, tackle around the horn up the football field, and they do it well. Kick out by the guard, tackle pulls upfield, gets his block, and Green runs for the first down. There's Green's injury as he's collisioned down the football field. Turns that left ankle over.
But the good news is, and you heard the crowd react in the background, Ahman Green jogged off the field. First down for the Huskers. The new I-back is D'Angelo Evans. He had a nice first half, got in the end zone. Scott Frost underneath route. Holbein, good move. And Holbein still going to the 15-yard line. Third reception, and the first time he's caught a ball tonight without scoring a touchdown. He nearly did.
Well, a missed tackle compounded the problem. I think it was Cromartie who missed the tackle. You know, you got to secure the play right now. It's the safety. It's Blevins. You got to make the play right there. Holbein picks up an extra 20-25 yards because Blevins cannot make the play after the catch. You know, a receiver's just like a running back. Yards after catch, yards after first contact. That time Holbein was the winner, Blevins the loser.
Two tight ends follow the fullback, D'Angelo Evans. Finally dropped inside the 10 at the 9. Ball comes loose late. They're going to say it's Nebraska football. Brendan Holbein is very typical of a Nebraska football player. He's from Cozad, Nebraska, and Holbein had scholarship offers from Wyoming and Iowa State coming out of high school, where he was a terrific player, but he decided instead to walk on at Nebraska. 40% of their two-deep rosters former walk-ons in Holbein, because if you grow up in this state, more than anything, you want to be a Husker.
Yep.
Here's the option. Frost will score easily. Great read on the corner. Make it 48-7 Huskers.
Well, Kansas staying with the same way to defend the option. The outside linebacker is taking the pitch man, but the inside linebacker can't scrape quickly enough to take the quarterback. The inside pursuit is not there to stop the quarterback. That time it was blocked pretty darn well. Excellent execution up front. Scott Frost's speed once again a factor, but man, Michael Allen should have made a play on that. He got caught up in the wash.
Brown again parks one between the uprights. It is 49-7. You know, if I'm ever in a crowd and I need somebody to get me out of traffic, I'm going to hire Joel Makovica. Yep. He knocks down about 2 guys every running play. All Huskers. The second half is brought to you by Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes. By Power Bar, fuel for optimum performance. And by the new Coors Light wide mouth cans. Tap the Rockies with a smoother pour. Scott Frost in the end zone for the second time tonight, and he is developing respect from his teammates quickly.
Well, he's thrown for 3 and run for 2 tonight. You can't do a whole heck of a lot better than that. Maybe Tommy Frazier, the retirement of his number, inspired Scott Frost tonight.
Brown, a one-hopper through the end zone. Frost, 12 of 16, a career-high 254 yards, along with the career-high in touchdown passes of 3.
Boy, he looks like Joe Montana throwing the football and Fran Tarkenton running the football. I mean, he's just doing it all tonight. There's no question about it.
And right now, Nebraska with 305 more yards in total offense than Kansas. And Dave, that's including a 77-yard play for Kansas.
Right, that one-play drive. Coordinator Charlie McBride's nightmare, but his defense played well otherwise.
Ben Roots in the football game, and he hands off to Mark Sanders, who doesn't get much.
Well, they're staying with the game plan of trying to crease Nebraska between the tackles with the ISO a little bit, leading it up in there, but Nebraska very much up to the task.
Well, he ran into Jamel Williams, and the philosophy of Charlie McBride's defense is to occupy the defensive lineman, or the offensive lineman, and not let his linebackers get blocked.
Yep.
They make a lot of plays. Roots looks backside. He has time, and he has a nice throw complete to Isaac Bird, who pays for the reception as Brown comes in and makes the tackle. It is Mike Brown, not Ralph Brown.
Right. Nice protection up front. Gave Roots an opportunity to throw this football, but Brown, look at that clinic. Head across the bow. Whiplash shot right there. Definitely a sure tackle. I mean, that's a training reel stuff. You know, Nebraska's defense, the ends pinch. I mean, the ends kind of collapse you. The tackles penetrate, and the linebackers run. They're tough. Right tackle moved early.
See Mike Minter, the strong safety. He was coming off the edge on a blitz. 11:33 to go in the third quarter.
Dead ball. Ball start on the offense. Still first down.
And with the score 49-7 Nebraska, we go downstairs to our close personal friend, Lisa Molosky. Lisa.
Well, thank you, Drew. Coach Mason told me at halftime that he doesn't believe his team ever gives up. But offensive coordinator Pat Rule said yesterday, if we can't create some success early, it will be tough to keep the fire alive. Here we go. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's been a lot of schools that have come into Lincoln with that feeling. Double coverage that time on Isaac Bird. Minter helped out. And an incompletion. Pretty good initial coverage by Jerome Peterson.
Well, you're not going to Isaac or Bird. He beat him for a 77-yard touchdown. They're not going to let him line up in man coverage anymore. He's going to get attention from two people, and that time he certainly did. And nice hit by Minter, make him pay a little bit as he left his feet to make a play on the football. But, you know, beat me once in man coverage, isolating me against the true freshman, Mr. Ralph Brown. But it's not going to happen again.
Second and 15 as Sanders shifts to the strength of the formation. Blitz.
Wow.
And no chance. Off the corner, Terrell Farley.
Unblocked. Assignment error up front. I mean, you've got to be able to slide out and pick him up. I wonder if the clock expired.
You know, half the linemen didn't get out of their stance, Dave.
This will help, I guess. Basically, Nebraska, they'll decline
delay
this
of the game on the offense. Second down.
Yeah, got to take that penalty. You can't decline it. It's a dead ball foul, so they don't get the quarterback sack. Farley gets gypped out of a quarterback sack, but the real problem is Kansas up front. I mean, you have to account for Terrell Farley. You can't let him come off the corner unblocked and hit your quarterback from the blind side. It's open up a new can of roots then.
A new can of roots?
Yeah.
Okay. Van on the shuttle. And he gets about 12. Good looking play. 41-yard line, which will set up a more manageable third down. Eric Stokes, the free safety, with the tackle.
Oh, the old shovel pass has been good to both teams tonight. Out of the wingback position, out of the slot, a moving Van. There he is right there, doing a pretty good job of making some people miss. Trying to step up and take advantage of an opportunity. I mean, you know, when June Henley was suspended, as a team, you have to treat it like he was injured in pregame warm-up or in the first quarter of a football game, and other people just have to come in and do the job. That's the way you have to look at it.
Farley's on the near side. Roots goes down. That's the end of the play.
Well, as his lineman stepped on his foot, he planted that root in the ground. And it was either the center or right guard stepped on Roots' foot as he was separating from the line of scrimmage, just like driving a nail in his big toe, and down he goes. As you see Roots, the offensive line takes their steps inside, and they just trip up the quarterback, stepping on his feet. Cheap sack right there.
Might have 40 sacks on the year before this game's done. Dean Royal to punt again. He hammered one 56 yards last time. This one not nearly as good. And Kenny Cheatham hauls it in. And he'll get it out to about the 34-yard line. A punt of 34 and a return of 4. 9:45 to go in the third. 49-7 Nebraska. Here is our Power Bar Optimum Performer of the Week, John Hess. Inside linebacker, 3.5 student in psychology. In fact, he already has his degree. And last week, he was the Defensive Player of the Week in the Big 12 Conference. Double figures in tackles, also blocked a punt. And some of the damage he's done tonight against the Jayhawks, getting it done in the classroom and on the football field. Typical of the Huskers, who through the years have had 49 academic All-Americans, 11 more than Notre Dame, the number 2 school on that list.
He also blocked the kick last week, as well as contributing 11 tackles. He loves the game.
Toss sweep, D'Angelo Evans, well defensed, and still it'll take 5 white jerseys to bring him down. Now the Nebraska offensive front, they go 3 deep at 300 pounds plus at every position, and they're playing a whole lot of folks tonight.
They are, Drew. In the first half, 8 different offensive linemen played. Now you had Taylor playing center, left guard, and right guard. He played 3 positions. Dishman played left tackle and left guard. Pollock left tackle and left guard. 8 different guys, 3 of them playing more than one position. Deep, talented, what a group.
They are a factory.
Well,
and they hang out where you were hanging out before the game in that weight room.
The pipeline they keep adding valves to the pipeline and building onto that bad boy. The pipeline goes from coast to coast, I think.
And here's Scott Frost a moment ago. See, everybody wants to get in the act and be a blocker.
Sure. Well, you get all the guys pancaking, folks. Frost says, I'm going to knock somebody down. I'm going to go after you. Well, not too... Well, he didn't get the pancake. The defender tripped over a teammate, but Scott Frost, it was not really an excuse me block, but it was like, I'm not sure I want to do this. His modeling career's intact, though. No damage to the face. He's a good-looking young man.
Yeah, he kept the helmet out of there.
Yeah, he got the helmet out of there, and, you know, you can't do everything.
Yeah. Glenn Mason told us an absolutely hilarious story yesterday. He was talking to Milt Tenneper, the long-time offensive line coach here in Lincoln, and it was before a game a couple of years ago. Right. And they had 9 guys suited up on the offensive line for Kansas that day. 9 guys ready to play, and there was 53 offensive linemen ready to go for Nebraska. And he walked over to a couple of them. He said, Milt, can I talk to him? They said, yeah, sure, go ahead. He goes, you guys are a bunch of dummies. We got 9 guys. You'd be starting for us right now. You're not going to smell the field till maybe you're a senior.
He walked up to one kid wearing number 66. He goes, hey, 66, you blew it. You could be starting for him. The guy's 310 pounds. He's not even on Nebraska's roster. I mean, they had 52 guys. Every one of them weighed 299 or more, you know. And poor Glenn Mason, at that time when he came to Kansas, they were struggling to run the football because he didn't have any guys up front, any big people up front. They made a big effort to recruit big folks, but look at them all. It's the Marines. I mean, there's a red wave, tidal wave. Nebraska's got some beef, boy.
This is a QB draw. Scott Frost lost the football. And I think Nebraska's on it, though it's still loose. And Nebraska is on it. 3rd down, and they actually picked up a couple of yards on the fumble.
I think D'Angelo Evans, no, he didn't end up with it, but he fell in Cheatham, I think.
Yeah, Kenny Cheatham jumped on it.
Yeah, he jumped on it. Evans made an attempt at it. This was a design play. You know, the quarterback running the football out of the shotgun and just True pulling from the left tackle spot all the way around to the right, not securing the football well enough for Scott Frost. He was dragged down from behind by a very active nose tackle, Brett McGraw.
And McGraw's played well for KU tonight.
I'll tell you, he's a rodeo guy. He ropes those steers, and I'll tell you, he can bulldog some folks inside. He's a tough customer.
3rd down and 7 for Nebraska. Option. Frost cuts it back, tackled short of the 1st down. From behind, He was hit by number 99, Ron Warner.
You know, the thing that Nebraska does so well, Drew, is they have 10 different offensive sets in this football game. And they keep running all of them and poking and probing and seeing what kind of defensive adjustments you make. And they find out which formations are the most successful to run the option. Which formation is the most successful to run the power game.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 1 at their own 43-yard line. Power eye, D'Angelo Evans didn't get there. Stepping up in the hole was Patrick Brown, a 210-pound sophomore from Westerville, Ohio.
You got flags in the field. I think Kansas may have had too many men. Somebody might have too many men on the field.
Well, that would be a real shame, because this game may be out of reach for Kansas, but they're still playing, as Glenn Mason said they would. That was a terrific play. And you're right, there were too many guys on the field.
Yep, they didn't get the defensive personnel group out there. I think they may have been surprised a little bit that Nebraska was going for it, and they got caught in the Chinese fire drill a little bit.
12 men participated on defense. 15-yard penalty. Previous spot. First down.
Well, shouldn't that be allowed, Dave? I mean, the way Nebraska's rolling.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, that's good in Canada, but not in the States. You're right, though. I'd let them have 15 guys. I'd say, hey, put the whole sideline out there. It's the only way you stop Nebraska. Glenn Mason, not a happy camper.
So the ball now at the 43 of Kansas. D'Angelo Evans stops and darts ahead for about 5 yards. Another budding star at I-back for the Huskers. How many great ones have they had? It's amazing. Only one Heisman Trophy winner. That was Mike Rozier.
I tell you what, it's just a great program. Watch our fullback, number 45, top of the screen. Bob, boom. That's a pancake. Throw a little syrup on that bad boy. Maybe a little powdered sugar, and away we go. I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a hit right there.
New quarterback, Matt Turman, the senior from Wahoo, Nebraska. And he hands to Evans. Whoa. Boy, I like this guy. Inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. You know, Blevins in there defensively.
You know what, Drew? This guy, he slides, he glides. I mean, it doesn't even look like he's running with much effort. It's not real high knee action. Man, he changes direction so quickly. Short, squatty, violent cut guy. And is he a smooth runner? This kid's got a future big time. Looks like he's skating out there. It's almost like he's on skates.
Yeah, that's a good description. It really does look that way. And he's got the balletic moves down as he spins out of the grasp of Chris Jones, number 49.
I'll tell you what, take a look at a tight spin move here. I mean, you're talking about, like you were mentioning, a ballet. I mean, here's a highly conditioned athlete that's a real force. Out in space we go. That's unfair to make a play like that on Chris Jones. D'Angelo Evans is tough. I want to see him do a little plie, arabesque, and pirouette. I want to see it all out there. This guy's got talent. He can do the ballet. He can run the ball. He can do everything.
You know, he's an elusive date. He's hard to hug. Here's the fullback, Mr. Makovica, to the 8-yard line. Saving the touchdown was Michael Allen.
Makovica, he'll block you, he'll run you over. He's a football player. And I'll tell you what, you better pack some thump to bring this guy down. Nice blocking up front, stiff arm, away we go at the linebacker level. You're not going to arm tackle him. You got to put your helmet across his body, like Michael Allen did eventually. Makovica is all football player, a lunch pail guy.
Two tight ends. Terminal run option. Stops, cuts it back, and runs it to Ronnie Ward, and that's the end of that. You know, Joel Makovica, we talked about his brother Jeff. His father John was an NAIA All-American at Kearney State. So football,
important to that family,
yeah,
huh?
Real important to that family.
Man, look at these guys. I'm telling you what, they've all been living in that athletic performance room that we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. They got some horses that can move folks off the line of scrimmage.
Terminal run option to the wide side. And he's going to get it to the 3-yard line. And that'll set up a 3rd and goal for Nebraska with 4:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. 49-7. Drew Goodman, Dave Lapham, Lisa Molosky. Matt Turman's a good story.
Yep.
He's another guy that could have gone elsewhere to play. He had quite a high school career in Wahoo. He's a great student, 3.6 in education, 2-time member of the academic All-Big 8 team, and of course the Big 12. Could have gone to a lot of Division I AA, Division II schools, and I want to play at Nebraska. And D'Angelo Evans will not get to the end zone. Again, Kansas showing a great deal of pride. Ronnie Ward in there, and also Jason Harris, the cornerback, sticking his nose in there.
Well, you got substitute players up front on both teams, and this time Kansas handles it. Kansas knocks them backwards a little bit. Not a whole lot of surge by the Big Red offensive line up there. That battle of the war was won by the Jayhawks. Unfortunately, too many battles of the war gone the Cornhusker way.
4th and goal at the 3. Power eye Evans launches. He didn't get there. The ball is loose. And Kansas able to turn away Nebraska. So a measure of respect returned to the Kansas sideline. They did a nice job defensively. 49-7 Huskers, late 3rd quarter. Nebraska leading Kansas. Well, let's flash back for a moment. Do you remember this play? One of the great runs in recent college football history. Tommy Frazier on the option against Florida in last year's Fiesta Bowl. Tackle me if you can. He ended up going the distance as Nebraska rolled for 524 yards on the ground. And Tommy Frazier's with Lisa Molosky.
Thanks, guys. Tommy, I'm finding you here on the sidelines because, as I understand, you are a sideline reporter for radio. I think you're kind of trying to take my job.
No, I'm not trying to take your job. I'm trying to create one for myself.
There you go.
That's something I want to get into this broadcast, so I'm starting off early right now.
Let's take a look at this play and we'll come back to you. Guys, take it for this one.
All right, Lisa, operating from the 6-inch line, Roots. He's going to throw out of the end zone. The out and up to Bird. It is intercepted. 29 on the football for Nebraska is Chevin. Is it Wiggins?
No, it's List.
Yeah, it's got to be List. A different 29.
Right.
Wiggins plays offense.
They got double numbers galore here. 120 guys suited out.
They're into the 3rd and 4th team. Let's go back to Lisa with Tommy Frazier. Lisa?
I'm back here with Tommy Frazier. Tommy, what do you think of the game so far? Boy, I'll tell you, Nebraska's offensive production has been great.
Yes, they made a lot of improvements over last week. You know, they had 5 turnovers, and Coach Osborne really liked that. So today they came out, and now you see the real Nebraska offense.
So is it fun to still be on the sideline?
Yes, fun. You know, I need the opportunity just to let my body heal.
There you go. Thanks a lot for joining us, Tommy. Back to you guys.
All right, Damon Benning off the option, gets to the corner. He'll have it to the 10-yard line, a pickup of 15 before Bratton ran him out. I want to tell you something. Tommy Frazier, and this is stating the obvious, but Tommy Frazier was the prototype for this offense. And not only was he a great option quarterback and he threw the ball exceptionally well, he was a terrific leader.
Oh, yeah.
And almost from the moment he walked on campus from Bradenton, Florida.
This kid made great decisions. I mean, he always got him in a great play, audibilized 60% of the time at the line of scrimmage.
Up the middle, Benning, shaken free, touchdown Huskers.
Boy, 2 carries for Benning in the end zone. Josh Cobb had a great block at the fullback position on both plays. And they got fullbacks about 7 deep here at Nebraska. Great tradition of fullbacks. You know, the thing that impressed me about Tommy Frazier, Drew, you shake his hand, he's got big hands for his body size. He controlled that football, throwing it, and then the options so well. Just a very, very gifted athlete. Look at the muckers on him as he holds that microphone. Yeah. He's got a mitt on him. I tell you, and he can really get it done with those big hands.
Ted Retzlaff in there to kick as they are on to the number 2 kicker here tonight. It is 56-7. Yesterday, in a conversation with Tom Osborne, we asked him what Saturdays are all about. Game day in Lincoln, Nebraska.
the fact that we have no pro football here, we have only one major university, and there's a long-standing tradition has led to a tremendous amount of interest in football. And as a result, there's a certain anticipation, a certain amount of electricity revolving around Nebraska football on a game day, and that's gratifying. And yet at the same time, it's a little disconcerting because it seems like you're always in a goldfish bowl and almost year-round, and I guess it's better to be that way than to have apathy.
It is the only show in town, and Dave, I think if Mike Helling, our producer, Kevin Shank, our director, and I dressed up in our opponent's uniform, they might show up and suit up this whole stadium. I'm telling you. Doesn't matter. They will come. And they're about to make it 34 games, or maybe I'm exaggerating just a little bit.
They are. They're about to make it 34 straight home games won. Drew, that'll set a new school record. They were tied for 10th in NCAA history with 33 straight, so that'll move them up in that area. Conference games, this will make them 25-0 at home in conference games over the last 4 years. And amazingly, over the last 9 years, this will make them 55-2.
The only two teams, unbelievable. Yeah, the only two teams to win here, Washington in '91 and Colorado in 1990. And the interesting thing about that is that Washington in '91 a share of the national title, right. Colorado in 1990 a share of the national title. So you have to have some great stuff to come into Lincoln and win.
Well, this will make them, with tonight's victory, and it certainly looks like that's going to be the case, 56-7. It'll make them 42 wins, 2 defeats over the last 4 years. I mean, you can go on and on and on. The numbers, Coach Tom Osborne has never had fewer than 9 wins in any season. He's averaged 10 wins a season in his glorious career. Incredible.
Isaac Bird, he's still playing. And he makes the catch in front of Peterson.
Maybe a face mask? Face mask as he brought him to the turf. That'll be probably
take on a few more yards.
Probably the 5-yard variety. It's 5 yards or 15 yards, depending on if the official felt that he grabbed and didn't let go. But I'll tell you what, this young man, he's going to have
inadvertent face mask, 5-yard penalty, into the run, first down, Kansas.
You tackle up by the head, and that's what can happen to you. And Peterson gets caught, he gets tagged, but you have to tackle a little bit lower than that. But Bird, you have a two-way go. You can choose Major League Baseball or the National Football League. That guy's going to be making some money here pretty soon. It was a good decision to go to Kansas and play both sports.
And again, he had a very nice rookie year in baseball, played only 23 games. You mentioned he had 275 earlier. Obviously a great speed guy, right, which is advantageous on the baseball diamond.
Well, he played center field, and of course a definite threat on the base pass. I mean, that's the first thing they look for in baseball. One of 2 things they look for: throwing arm and foot speed. And I'll tell you what, Bird can do it.
You know who else a two-way player, two-sport guy? Eric Van,
right,
the tailback.
Right. He hit about 230 at Kansas, though.
That's got to come up.
Yeah.
Roots, all kinds of time, and he guns it, and it's nearly intercepted. Jerome Peterson had a better chance at catching that than his intended target, Michael Chandler.
Roots is having a good time out there, though. You can look at the expression on his face. He's getting reacquainted with a lot of teammates. I mean, he was here, started his career, as we mentioned, at Nebraska. He knows a lot of these guys on this football team, so they got a few things to say to each other as they separate after a play, get back to the line of scrimmage. And this kid, Roots, he has a quick release. He gets rid of the football very well, and a little bit of mobility has been taken away from him due to surgeries on both knees, but he's a leader and seems to be able to move his team pretty well, knows what's going on out there.
3rd down and 8. They'll roll the pocket, pressure coming. It's intercepted and dropped. List almost had number 2,
yep,
and he would have been in the end zone.
But he's listless right there. He just couldn't hang on.
I knew you were going to do that.
He went from superhero to, oh, man. You talk about golden goalposts. Right there, he's saying, I got a touchdown. He looked it in, just didn't squeeze it. List is very upset right now. Roots got drilled, too, after he released that football. He paid the price.
Dean Royal. Another punt. This one gets up in the wind and turns over. back to the 15-yard line. And he is spilled at about the 19-yard line. Coming down, J.J. Johnson covering the dig. Well, if you're wondering where Nebraska ranks in terms of national championships, they have 4 after winning the last 2. They won back-to-back years in 70 and 71. The Irish own 8. Bear Bryant, the late Bear Bryant, with 5 at Alabama. And as a conference,
yes,
this new one.
This is the Big 12.
And I'll tell you, we were talking to Steve Hatchell, the commissioner of the Big 12, before the ball game tonight. And as this conference unfolds over the years, you're going to have an extraordinary football team to go unbeaten through this conference.
You really are.
Benning makes his way for about 4 or 5 yards. Spilled by Jason Harris. We should point out, with 1:02 to go in the third quarter and the clock moving, a one-sided game, 56-7 in favor of Nebraska. They're not beaten up on chopped liver. This is not the Kansas Jayhawks of 10 years ago. This is a team that won 10 football games and finished in the top 10 in the nation last year. They came in the preseason ranked number 24.
Right.
And that is just how good Nebraska is. They can make a fine football team look very, very average.
They've got a lot of people. They've got so much more depth at every position. And you play them at home, and it's even tougher.
Benning keeps the football. They gave it to him and faked a reverse.
You know, you're right about Kansas, though, Drew. They came in 3-3 with a plus 12 turnover ratio. Very easily could have been 5-1. You know, gave up some big plays early against Utah. Came back to take the lead. Utah drove to score on them late to beat them in that football game. Didn't play well against Texas Tech, but gave Colorado a good go defensively. They couldn't move the ball that well against Kansas. Just couldn't take advantage of opportunities. But Nebraska kind of taking them apart tonight.
Tom Osborne wanted that snap to happen before the quarter ended. It did not. 3 quarters done in Lincoln. Yes, indeed, it is the home of the defending national champions, and they're having their way with Kansas, 56-7.
If there's lots of
through 3 quarters, 56-7 Nebraska. And right now they have a 3rd down and 4. Turman throws and wide of his target as he tried to get it to Sean Whiting, as we are now seeing 3rd, 4th, and maybe even 5th team players for Nebraska. They're over 500 yards unofficially in total offense. Their high water mark this year, 669 against Baylor. So they'll have to punt the football with Dave Lapham and Lisa Molosky. I'm Drew Goodman, and the Huskers, from the opening snap of this game, Dave, had it together.
Well, they were in the red zone 7 times, Drew, 8 times, scored 7 of them. The only time they didn't was the last possession. They went for it on 4th down and really just ran a dive and said, Kansas, if you can stop us, you get the ball. They didn't go for the field goal. I think that's a good move.
Jesse Cush, line drive, turned it over to the 25-yard line is Isaac Bird. And nowhere to run. He loses the football and he gets it back. That's John Hess running under another punt.
Man, Bird was caged there. Unbelievable.
Punt of 50. And we'll step aside again. 14:43 to go in the 4th quarter.
Back to Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm Lisa Molosky. In the 4th quarter, Nebraska 56-7. I am here on the sideline. This is where I stand and watch the game. But look what I've discovered. I found all these people underneath the stadium, and I found out they all have tickets up in the stadium, but they come here to field level. And I gotta know, guys, why do you come underneath and look through this fence the entire game?
Lisa, we get the better angle from down here.
Better angle? And you can kind of feel the roar of the crowd and hear the guys.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Look at, they've got cables and fences, and I'm telling you, this is something else. These guys will do anything to get near the game. Back to you, Drew, Dave.
And Lisa, they're standing under a sign that says Georgians for Nebraska. That isn't an election That's not an election slogan. That's folks who come up from Georgia every week to visit Lincoln and support the Huskers.
And Drew, you know what? I just happened to wear the right color for this game. These people love it.
You did. We did notice that. We thought you were rather gutless wearing red
I'm
today.
telling you, right?
You know what? I think chocolate shakes for all those guys under those stands.
That's right. Van into the hole, gets a couple more. It'll set up a 3rd down and 4. And what's the view from inside the fence?
Oh, yeah.
It's not great.
Boy, those high punts and high passes, it's hard to get a good view of those bad boys. Man, you know what, though? You feel like you're part of the action. I mean, you're right there. Lisa's saying hello to her fans. Yes.
Well, you know what? I worry about those guys. You know, they come down, they have a nice seat up high. They come down to watch beneath the field level. Those are the guys in high school who used to hide under the stairs.
That's right. That's right. I thought they might have snuck in and they were still hiding from the authorities.
Roots goes to Sanders out of the backfield, and he'll have the 1st down to the 38-yard line, and it's a rare 1st down for Kansas, unfortunately for them in this football game. They'll have to regroup next week. It'll be Iowa State in Ames, Iowa, and they'll get a chance to tackle Troy Davis as we check the Dr. Pepper roundup. Ohio State got a game from Iowa, but they pull away and win. Florida State 31-24. ASU no problem with Stanford. Alabama loses in Knoxville. First time in a while that the Crimson Tide could not win in Knoxville. And Van ran into a van. Julius Jackson.
You know, Julius Jackson is a freshman, and at the weight room, he is one of, I think it's about 7 players that are allowed to use a platform based on record weightlifting that produce point totals on lifts. This kid is a freshman, put together, huge future. You showed a little glimpse of it right there. What an athlete.
Roots out of the gun. 2nd and 13. Roots throws it behind Andre Carter. He was pretty well covered by Mike Brown, setting up a 3rd down. Is there a team in the country that is more efficient in what they do on both sides of the football schematically than Nebraska, Dave?
I'd really have to struggle. I think Florida has stepped up defensively. I think Bob Stoops has done a good job down there in terms of trying to get with this press. Load the box up and press with your corners. But Nebraska made that adjustment after struggling in the bowl games against the teams from Florida, running that 4-3 defense with all those fast linebackers. And I'll tell you what, they are a load on both sides of the ball.
Roots, good throw to Van, who lined up in the slot, crosses midfield to the 45-yard line. Good throw and catch, and Greg List with the tackle. Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator, and really a charismatic guy for Nebraska, told us something very interesting yesterday. There's a Kansas player down way back at the 25-yard line.
I think it's a big lineman down there, but there's Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie told us, he said, this might sound strange, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world that we lost this year and lost to Arizona State. And that's not to take anything away from Arizona State. They played a great football game and they deserved to win. He said, but at some point we had to lose and maybe bring everybody back down to the ground.
Right. Glasgow working his way off the football field right here. But Drew, I agree with you. It was a reality check. The fans, the players, the community. Everybody had to realize that you don't have an S on your chest. You're human beings, and at some point in time you're going to be beaten. I think they were a little bit disturbed by how they were beaten out there, but they weren't they weren't really decimated by the loss. They knew it was going to happen at some point.
And we talked to Tom Osborne yesterday about how his team has rebounded from the loss to the Sun Devils.
What I want to do is to go around pointing the finger, browbeating your football team, tearing them down. I think that there's enough of a confidence loss. There's enough of of a self-image damage control that has to be undertaken, that you don't want to just totally destroy them. And so we tried to take a positive attitude toward it, and they came back and played, I think, 3 or 4 very good football games after losing to Arizona State.
They'll make it 4 or 5 very good football games.
I'll tell you what, they showed resiliency, and that's the fiber of a champion right there. A little bit of character as a football team, and they weren't going to be down long. Tom Osborne has got a bunch of assistants that have been here for 20 years or more, and they're patient. They do the same things.
Galbraith giddy-ups through the hole, gets about 4 yards. Enough for a first down for the Jayhawks.
You know, this defensive football team, a lot of substitutions like you're talking about, Drew, and the key is that last year they gave up a lot of points when third-team players came into the game. Charlie McBride very proud of the guys that mop these games up because they've been shutting people down as well, not giving up a whole lot of points. This football team now, they're into their 24th quarter without giving up a touchdown rushing. Now, they gave up a touchdown passing tonight, but 24th quarter, 6 games without a touchdown on the ground. That's big time.
Roots, 4-man rush.
Pickett.
And that's up for grabs. Mike Brown has it. And he's got an escort on the far sideline. Across midfield to the 47. They run at you in waves. A 44-yard return for Brown. And to embellish the point you just made, Tom Osborne told us that they could go 3 deep at every position with guys who are ready and prepared to play on Saturday.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they practice so efficiently, and once again, it's because of that walk-on program, Drew. You know, they travel 66 players. A third of them, 22 guys, were walk-ons at some point in their career, and it just makes them practice so darn efficiently. They all get good reps.
Turman stays in at quarterback. And this is about a 9-yard gain. And got to look on the depth chart because there's a new guy in there by the name of James Sims as they go to the 4th-team tailback.
Well, pick up almost a first down on first down in that situation, 9 yards. They're averaging over 10 yards every first down. That's the 33rd first down snap they've run. They're averaging about 10 yards per snap on first down. That's big time. Kansas is averaging about half of that, 5 yards per snap on first down. And really the reason for that, 77-yard play to Bird on first down.
They go fullback, and Josh Cobb will have first down. And it's got to be a lot of tired bodies physically and emotionally on the Kansas sideline. Anytime you play Nebraska, you want to give it your best shot, chance to knock off the national champions, a tradition-rich program. And Kansas just did not have enough guns tonight.
Well, you know, and that's another thing about Nebraska, Drew. I think you make a great point. Everybody gives it their best effort. In Nebraska, they've won back-to-back national championships. Now, if the field goal against Florida State was true, instead of going off wide, they'd already have 3 straight national championships going for 4. So one field goal where they lose that game, they would have 3 in a row right now. That's incredible. And you know, there's no ladder at the seat at the top of the ladder of success. Look at the numbers that Coach Osborne continues to put up. Everybody's taking your best shot. They continue to win. They sustain it. They've been consistently excellent, and that's a big key.
Sims runs it wide, and jumping on his shoulders was Mitch Bowles. Bowles, a redshirt freshman from Las Vegas. Kansas has been able to recruit much better the last few years. Not only have they had far more success, they've had winning seasons in 4 of their last 5 years. Been to a couple of bowl games, beat up UCLA last year in the Aloha Bowl.
Sure did.
But when Glenn Mason sits in your living room, not only do you listen, but you're going to smile and you're going to feel good about what they're doing in Lawrence, Kansas. And he is starting to win plenty of recruiting battles. Second down and 6. Turman goes underneath. With the football is number 81, Aaron Wills. Michael Allen brings him down finally. Another first down for the Huskers. And you know what? They never leave. Even though this game's over, no one has is left. There's still 75,000 here.
The only game in town. Wells, the tight end. Watch what he does here, Drew. He's at the end of the line of scrimmage. He gets lost here blocking a little bit and then releases out into his pattern late. Kansas doesn't make the adjustment. Look, he blocks. The linebackers lose track of him. Now he leaks out late. And everybody's backdropped into their zones, and he's wide open underneath. Great scheme, well executed.
Sims on the option. Sims, a stiff arm, gets it to the 5-yard line. He nearly took that in.
You know, what you mentioned about Glenn Mason, though, I can't agree more. I mean, this guy is somebody that you want to play football for. And, you know, he mentioned, just the deal with June Henley it's a tough thing. But he says he's going to treat his football players like he treats his own kids. He's got teenage children. He's got college-age students. And he's going to be consistent. Sometimes you have to punish him. Sometimes you have to defend him. He felt like he had to punish June Henley this time.
That's a touchdown for Nebraska. Josh Cobb bouncing off people.
Another
gets
fullback.
in the end zone.
Another fullback.
Let's keep lining them up. Wow. Cobb, 230-pound sophomore from Wallace, Nebraska. You think he couldn't have been somewhere else? Sure.
I mean, he probably had about half a dozen options. Maybe not all Division I, Division I AA, Division II, but he wanted to play here and do this in front of these Husker fans that just go crazy for football. I mean, it's a thrill. His hair standing up on the back of his neck.
Retzlaff pumps it through. The Huskers into the 60s. 63-7 with 8:37 to play in Lincoln. Grid. Josh Cobb, first touchdown of the year, and you know what? He's going to remember that for a long, long time.
And look at the whole team congratulating him. It's a family over there.
Tough night for Glenn Mason.
Great night for Cobb, though. He'll never, ever forget this. His first touchdown in his college football career at home.
Kick hauled in by Eric Van, and he'll get it across the 20, dropped at the 23-yard line. We asked Glenn Mason, why choose Kansas? Here is his response.
Let's face it, what do we have to offer? We don't have a mountain to show. We sure don't have an ocean. The closest ocean is over 2,000 miles away. And the weather doesn't always cooperate in January when recruiting. But what we do have to sell is something that has quality. We can offer a total college experience. We can offer a great quality education that cannot be surpassed anyplace. We can offer a winning football program that's done the right way. We don't break any rules. We make all decisions with student athletes foremost in our mind. And we can offer an honest-to-goodness, great, wholesome college experience. I think the University of Kansas, what Marion College is all about.
He's absolutely right. That is what college is all about. If you've ever been to Lawrence, Kansas, that's a beautiful town, a great college town. And
oh, yeah.
Not only do you have a winning football program now, perennially one of the best basketball programs in the nation. And there's two guys probably upset more than any other Jayhawk fans this night, and that's our friends in the truck.
Yes.
Producer Mike Helling and director Kevin Schenk.
Rock Chalk guys.
Yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawk guys. That's Julius Bruce, who takes a lick after getting back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be third down and about 8.
And the guy who delivered the hit is hurting. I think that's Blahak. Chad Blahak. And I'll tell you that Glenn Mason, though, if he comes into your kitchen, sits down at the kitchen table with you and your parents, the guy can sell Kansas. He can sell anything, really. Yeah. I mean, he's a charismatic guy that he could sell you anything in the world. And there's no doubt that he and his coaching staff, when recruits come on campus, he's gonna really make you think about going to that university, because that Lawrence, everything revolves around the football and basketball programs there at Kansas. I mean, it's a big time thing. Of course, you live in a fishbowl. June Henley can tell you all about that. But there's the thing about college football today, Drew. You know, these guys are experiencing a great thing tonight. I mean, very few college students have an opportunity to do what these guys are doing tonight. But they do not have an opportunity at the college life, the normal college life, that John Q. student does at every major institution. I mean, when they make a mistake,
it is magnified.
Oh, it's magnified a 100-fold. And that's the nature of the beast. There's pros and cons to it.
And you know what? Similar to his counterpart, Tom Osborne, these guys really care, honestly care about their kids. In fact, Glenn Mason carries a beeper with him.
Right.
It's for his kids, it's for his friends, and he gives out the number. It's an 800 number. He says, I don't care if you're in Kansas City, which is about an hour from Lawrence. He said, if you've had one too many or you have a problem, you call me. I don't care what time of day it is.
And Mike Kelly and Kevin Shank have that beeper number.
Well, do they need it? Isaac Bird couldn't hold on to that one, a little bit behind him. And Kansas will have to punt the football to Nebraska with 7:22 to go. See, those guys are driving back home tonight,
right?
And they want to see if they can
what the heck?
hitchhike on the KU bus.
Grab it.
We'll leave shortly after the game.
You know, that's Kansas State has turned that program around. Glenn Mason has also turned Kansas around. That's tough. Two schools competing for athletes in the same state. That's tough. There's no state university here at Nebraska, other than Nebraska.
Lance Brown caught it, and he's a gutsy guy. Didn't call a fair catch. 39-yard punt. A whole lot of white jerseys around him, but Brown holds on. 120 Huskers dressed this evening. Next up for Nebraska, they'll travel to Norman to take on a rejuvenated Oklahoma Sooner team.
Yeah, 2-2 in the conference play.
5 yards, kick catch interference, first down Nebraska.
That was the amazing thing about the way they started under first-year coach John Blake. That the cupboard's not bare in Norman. There's still some pretty fine football players. John Blake's got them turned around. 63-7 Huskers. 63-7 over Kansas. And another new quarterback. It's Jeff Perino, a redshirt freshman from Durango, Colorado. Big strong kid, 6'2", 210, good athlete. Here's Sims slipping a few tackles. And for the storyline on this game, we go downstairs to Lisa Molosky. Lisa.
Hey guys, still a great night down here. It is time now for our Southwest Airlines storyline. Nebraska defense dominating as expected. Nebraska has allowed only one touchdown in the last 18 quarters. In total offense, take a look at those numbers. Nebraska 547 yards, Kansas 202. Oof. Nebraska dominating, guys.
Man, I'd say so. D'Angelo Evans back in there, and he's hit almost immediately. As soon as this young guy gets up, we'll be able to tell you who it is. It's Steve Bratton, another Colorado kid. He's from Arvada, Colorado.
Yes, I'll tell you, this gentleman, I'm sure, that's probably his 150,000th consecutive Nebraska Cornhusker game. And
I guarantee he was a season ticket holder in 70 and 71 when they won national championships.
No question about it. Yeah, he's like Tom Osborne. You can't tell that he's up 63-7. I guess he wants to hang 100 on him.
Damon Benning, one of the captains for the Huskers. And he has it inside the 40. Good first down carry. Tyrus Fontenot, redshirt freshman from Houston, will be credited with the stop.
A couple of streaks continued tonight, Drew. The Nebraska Cornhuskers. Look at the first down differential. Boy, that speaks volumes.
32 first downs. That's a pretty good season.
That's moving it. Nebraska, the 35th straight game, they accumulated at least one quarterback sack defensively. And that's a pretty amazing stat right there.
They go fullback, and now it's Ben Kingston's turn. See if he can get a big smile on his face like Cobb.
And for Kansas, a couple of things stayed alive for them. They have a takeaway in 15 straight games now. 21 of their last 23 games, they've taken the ball away at least one time from the opposition. You know, if they lose tonight, though, it'll be 3 straight losses. They haven't lost 3 straight football games since 1992. That goes to show you what Glenn Mason has gotten done here. You know, they really turned things around pretty well at Kansas.
Here's Sims hurdling his way to the 28-yard line. It's not like these 3rd, 4th, and 5th team guys are devoid of athletic ability.
Yeah, they were all state in their respective states where they play. You know, they're at least all league, all county, all whatever. You know, and the it's amazing. I mean, there are high school All-Americans sprinkled throughout this roster at Nebraska. You get down to the third team. Well, maybe you weren't a high school All-American, but you were certainly all-league or all-county. There's no doubt about it.
And again, if you grow up in Nebraska, you want to play here in Lincoln, even if it's just to run out of the tunnel. 23, new eye back in there is Chad Eicher.
You know, I've played with former Nebraska Cornhusker players and Jim Scow, Dave Remington, a couple of examples. They really talk about this place, true fondness. I mean, you know, it's a family. There's a real love for each other here, and they're loyal to each other. And Dr. Tom Osborne has a dramatic effect on these young athletes. They really do. And they've got memories they'll never, ever forget playing in front of all these fans here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
They go fullback in Kingston. Dropped by Taurus Fontenot. Pretty good play there.
No quitting those Hawks, though. No quitting those Jayhawks. And that's one thing Glenn Mason mentioned. We're going to play every snap in the second half. And look at these guys. They're still separating from blocks, thumping people around a little bit. Fontenot makes a good play. Pride is the first building block of the foundation you put down, and Glenn Mason's done that with this football team.
Hey, Dave, I know you've waited all weekend to say this. Guess who's in the football game at quarterback?
Who's in the game?
The Count of Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo. And he was toss sweep to Raymond. I mean, folks, we are really deep on the depth chart right now.
Yes.
Raymond is not even on the roster.
I think Cristo should go on a quick count of Monte Cristo. He should go on that first sound up there.
It is 4th down and 1. Mercifully, there's about 3 minutes left in the football game.
Yes.
Timeout. Frankie London's now at quarterback. Everybody's playing. Let me count this up. This is the 5th quarterback
really
used by Nebraska tonight, and they like this kid a lot. They think Frankie London is going to be a heck of a player. He's a freshman from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Good pocket presence as a thrower, and he can really run the option. As if they didn't have enough. Bar player of the game, is there a question? Scott Frost, 12 of 16 in the air, 3 touchdowns. He also ran for 2 more.
And he probably ran for over 50 yards. I mean, he had over 300 total yards offense, and man, he was accurate through 12 of 16. That's Joe Montana-like. Giving a little autograph action going on there.
He's a good kid who's had to deal with some adversity so far this year, especially after that Arizona State loss. And you know, last week he was 4 of 12 against Texas Tech. Really didn't have a huge game. There's a first down carry.
You know, that just shows you something about human nature, though. After the Arizona State game, there was nobody looking for his autograph. You're a hero tonight against Kansas, and they flock you. I mean, everybody loves the winner. They'll walk down the sidewalk with you arm in arm. If you're a loser, though, they get on the other sidewalk and walk on the other side of the street to get away from you like you're a leper.
You know, Dave Olness just carried the football. Can't tell you his first name. He's not listed anywhere. He's about the 7th team fullback, and nobody blows an assignment. I mean, they're still knocking people off the ball. Very efficient.
Because they practice so well, Drew. I mean, they split the assistant coaches up. They have 2 sets of offenses and 2 sets of defenses thumping on each other all day long. And they all get quality reps. They know how to execute offensively and defensively. They're well coached. It's a machine. It's a well-oiled machine here in Nebraska.
I wonder if everybody in that huddle knows each other's names. This is Kingston.
Here we go, another wave hitting the beach.
It's absolutely extraordinary. And it is also, I mean, we're making light of it here and having a good time with it. But honestly, it's one of the reasons that Nebraska has won 2 straight national championships. Their walk-on program, the depth that they have, especially now at the scholarship limit at 85 as opposed to a few years back when it was a 95 scholarship limit.
You get 85 walk-ons a year.
Yeah.
You know what? This is the 11th time Nebraska has been in the red zone. Now, they've scored 9 times. They've got 63 points. And here come another couple. Holy mackerel. They're taking them out of the stands and throwing equipment on them.
Hi,
they're everywhere.
Hi, my name's Ronnie. I'm a fullback.
They're growing them. They're watering the turf, and they're springing up from the turf. I mean, they're everywhere. It's unbelievable. Check this dude out. Check that dude. Man, oh, man. Pre-game meal big.
And he hasn't missed too many meals.
Hey, this is a quality program here now.
Everything's a fullback give. Kingston so close to getting in the end zone, and Bratton grabbed him.
Man,
Tom Osborne is literally running the same play. It's a fullback give.
And here comes another crew.
He is not trying to run it up on Kansas. Big 12 Conference football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. And by Southwest Airlines with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day. 63-7, and Nebraska turns it over on downs. And Kansas will have the last couple of snaps, and they too have a new quarterback. They brought in Hamilton Hill, who's a sophomore from Wichita. There's Hamilton.
Boy, Nebraska, I don't know how many rushing touchdowns tonight they had, but they haven't given up one. So they've only given up one rushing touchdown. They've got at least 23. I think they had at least 3 rushing touchdowns tonight. Frost had a couple. Benning had one. I'm trying to remember. 6 rushing touchdowns tonight and 3 passing. Okay, they got 26 touchdowns rushing. They've only given up 1. That is incredulous.
They've only given up 7 touchdowns all year, period.
What?
And it continues to be frightening, the numbers. There's Julius Bruce. He's a sophomore from Olathe. And that, in all probability, since I don't think Kansas is going to stop the clock, will be all. It was impressive on both sides of the ball. And, folks, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
They'll be in the championship hunt. It's going to happen.
63-7.
You know what? You think about when Nebraska lost to Florida State when they didn't hit the field goal. Florida State lost very late in that season to Miami. They beat Nebraska. They still won the national championship, but they've lost late in the year. When Tom Osborne lost to Miami, going for 2. Miami had a loss that year. They still won the national championship. Nebraska is not out of the national championship hunt by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they're not out of it yet. Circle November 29th on the calendar. Colorado visits Lincoln. And let's go down to Lisa Molosky, who's with the winning head coach. Lisa.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. I think you really made a statement tonight. You're looking good.
Well, we played well. I played well both sides of the ball. Kicking game was good. Got a lot of players in the game. That always kind of helps morale. So we were pleased.
I think everybody here in Nebraska is pleased. This sea of red is very impressive, Coach.
Yeah, we have great fans, and not very many places you stay to the end of the game when it scores like that, but they do here.
They certainly do. Thanks for stopping. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. It was impressive on both sides of the ball. 63-7 for our entire Fox Sports crew. Lisa Molosky and Dave Lapham. I'm Drew Goodman saying so long from Lincoln, Nebraska.